It's connecting. I'm going to click over to YouTube to make sure that's starting. Receiving content. You'll receive it in a moment. And then...
Did you just like put this out there so people know that...
It's about to be happening. Yeah. So now we're live. So now I can go chick. Cha-ching. And now the link is out there on the main page. And there's my face.
That's my face.
And your face. And then I go like this. I'm just making sure all the windows are where I want them to be. This way we can see the chat. Yes. Yes.
Okay, y'all get to hear a couple questions about couriers because I'm like super stupid and can't remember anything.
Okay. This is fine.
So if she's got her little pawn and I've got my pawn out already, and she plays hers,
she has to attack yours.
Right. So she attacks mine.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens because they're both the same defense.
Correct.
Okay. And then the next question was. The way that you discard is
by successfully scoring a creature, and
every
then
time
you can get rid of
you
dice.
score, you can get rid of one.
Per things that's scored.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was just double checking.
Perfect.
Sorry.
You're good.
It's quicker to ask you than to text you.
Yeah, you're fine.
Thank you.
Okay, so...
She tweets into the show. Just
let's see. Okay, we've got audio, so I just tested to make sure that we have audio, and that's good. Okay, we'll wait for a couple more people to get started, to get in here. Ooh, live question answering already. Hi, guys. So, yeah, we'll have the chat open over here so we can see everybody. Welcome, welcome to the first ever DMO73, I guess the beta for some kind of thing, for a podcast.
What's up, Omega Zero?
It's David.
Hi, David.
So, for those of you who are joining us, we are going to be going through every single card for Ancient Knights. And we are going to be talking about competitively what we think about it and what we think about it for pre-release so that you guys are prepared for what's coming up this weekend. But before we get into that, Paul, you're on camera.
Yep.
People need to know who you are.
Yeah, I'm Paul. My name is Paul Reisman. I played Force of Will. It's this card game that you might have heard about. I'm playing card games with Jeremy Franklin for about 10 years?
Oh my gosh.
Probably like a decade, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a really long time.
And we've played everything from Yu-Gi-Oh! To Kaijudo. He's probably played more card games than I have.
We played Duel Masters a little bit.
Duel Masters a tad. And now I play Force of Will because it's a good game.
Yeah, now we play Force. Got out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Together to get into Kaijudo.
Best decision.
Still the best decision, don't regret it. And then Kaijudo died.
Yep.
And then it's taken me, 2 years to finally fully hook you on Force of Will?
About 3. #1 community.
Yeah, it's true. Can't let go. So guys, while we are going through every single card, as it says on the screen, if you have thoughts, you can leave them in the chat. So unless you can tweet us on Twitter at DMO73, that's my handle, and then or use the hashtag #NewSetHype, and we will get those and we will answer those as well. So for those of you who might be watching and can't, access your computer keyboard for some reason, multiple layers. Also, if this is something that you're interested in and you want to support the channel moving forward, you can check out the Patreon. There's a link on the screen above my head. And there's also the direct link down in the description. Patreon is a really good way to support content creators that you enjoy, helping them make more stuff. And you'll be a part of our exclusive private Discord server, which, Paul, you are a part of as well. So we can get good community content there, plus exclusive tournaments, game nights, and giveaways. So just today we gave away a Reflect Refrain Judge promo. Just for free. We just gave it away. And for September, we're giving away another Reflect Refrain Judge promo. And we're doing a free tournament for a Feetsing Judge promo. So if those are things that you're kind of interested in, those are all free. You can support us on Patreon. Just $1 a month minimum gets you into the Discord server and helps me and my friends continue to make great content for you guys. So also feel free to email dragonmaster073@gmail.com with your questions for myself or for anyone who has helped out with the channel for future podcasts or future topics that you might be interested in when we do more consistent, no visual podcasts that we'll be putting out at a later date. Yeah. So with all of that business out of the way, let's see how we're doing. We already got 16 people joining us. Hello. That's 8 times as many people that are in this room, so it's pretty good. We are going to jump right in, and we are going to get in with our light cards. What do you think? So just light in general, what do you think?
I think this is one of those cards where I look at it initially, and my first reaction is like, this card is awesome because it's just a board wipe. It's a win con. It's really good. The more I think about it, though, the more I'm like, are golems really going to do anything?
Yeah.
And is 5 mana just a little bit too much to pay for this thing? 5 will, sorry.
Yeah.
Magic lingo, whatever. But yeah, I think it's good in sealed or in draft, I guess is what we're talking about, not draft.
Yeah, draft or sealed.
If you're running any golems.
Yeah, I think that competitively, if I was going for 5 will, I'd naturally think of for destruction, I'd naturally think darkness. And I would naturally also think Eternal Recurrence, which does hit both sides of the board. But this side, this hits only one side of the board pertaining, but then I have to play golems. Which outside of sealed, I have yet to think of anything that I want golems to play in. Sealed, I think, with a card that's going to come later, I think sealed and draft golems are going to be bombs. So this card would be a bomb, but I think that overall, in competitive play, I don't think this is where it's at. I don't think golems in general is where it's at.
Potentially a control card?
Potentially. If you're playing not a lot of creatures and you don't want to play black, then you could use this as an alternative to Eternal Recurrence because it's the same cost, double cost 3.
Pretty much.
So,
I think it's nice that we have more destruction in other colors, so I'm not forced to be into black or into red to do things, and that's the case for like a lot of cards just in this set. They're really good for drafting, but they're also really good for getting us out of this sense of I have to play black or red. Yeah,
for sure. Definitely a lot with red. Red is very different. So next up we have Discovery.
I love this card.
Yeah, I think this is a card that Pandas needed to even be touched, to be honest.
Oh yeah, like if Pandas wanted support, this is pretty generic stuff that you're going to need in order to make Pandas work. You're also seeing this sort of trend as we go through the set. You're going to see this like this 1-drop support that's quick cast that helps to support the ruler from the structure deck that this is for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so this is for Tigris. And it's grethink it's great that it gives you any attribute too.
Agreed. Yeah, especially because we're playing on curve. I think in general, if we're looking at Pandas right now, they definitely have to play on curve, which means that you need the right gem to match your curving Panda, right? Especially since they play with a bunch of different attributes. So the fact that Discovery quick casts, which is awesome, so during your opponent's turn, draws you a card, which is great because draw power is dropped significantly across the board with the loss of Atlas Cluster. And the fact that it gives you that utility to go for, I need a wind because I've got the wind guy in my hand. There you go. Because a lot of the stuff in the structure deck actually was pretty difficult to get all of the colors just by itself. So Discovery definitely helps that for sure. I don't think this is something that we're going to see sealed play much, mainly because I don't think the draft sealed ruler for Pandas is what I want it to be.
So say more about that.
So the draft rulers, the 5 of them, are essentially weaker versions of the structure deck rulers, which made sense, which I honestly think was a fantastic idea.
Oh yeah.
But Pandas by themselves already with Tigris, I'm a little bit concerned about his power as a J ruler, just in general. So then when you take that already kind of on the fringe and then make it weaker in a sealed environment, I'm not necessarily sure that that's going to be something that you're going to be pushing towards, unless your pool is like nothing but Pandas. but then in draft, that's not an issue because you're not just cracking 6 packs, so you're going to be constantly building a pool. And I don't think anyone's going to open their first pack and go, "Oh yeah, I think I'm going to build Pandas." Like in drafting, you know what I mean?
Unless you want this for draw power.
I guess unless you want to, but the other cards have it. Well, we'll get there.
Yeah.
I guess if you open up in your first pack, pick one. The Panda that clones itself, gets in the Celestial Wing Seraph one, which we'll get to. Then maybe you draft Pandas, but I think it's pretty low on the list.
Oh, yeah.
Gem Beast. 2-drop 6/6.
So I think this is sort of, for me, what I wrote down for this is it's kind of the same as Discovery. It ramps your game objects for Pandas, which is good. You need gems to make Pandas work.
Yeah.
GCG Scopes is going to build Pandas.
Yeah, man. Go for it,
That's
Colin.
awesome.
I think it's great.
I don't like that it's not a panda.
Yeah, it's a beast.
I think it should be a panda, right?
I agree.
What I do like is it works with Orphica because it's just when it leaves the field and
Yeah,
it sort of
it
gets
doesn't,
around
have to,
a
it doesn't
duel.
have to die.
Yeah, it gets around a duel, so if you need the gem production, there is something there to get you around.
Flicker.
Um,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, its stat line's good.
yeah,
Don't get me wrong.
stat line's
6/6 is fine. I think you and I have talked about how pandas are naturally a little slower.
good. Mhm.
So rush is going to be something they have to answer.
Also, something small. I like that this is not too light will.
Yes.
This is light and 1.
So you can, I like that too. So you can splash other colors in easier.
Like green, for instance.
Hey,
I like green pandas. I think are the way to go.
Wind is so powerful this set. Wind is so powerful every set. I don't think we have to lie there. Gemblade Emerald. We talked about this one on the spoiler article.
Yeah.
Personally, probably my favorite panda. I guess maybe more so, even by itself, it's awesome. Because you just have to control the wind gem, which is pretty easy now with Discovery. And it's just free.
Yep.
Like, if it enters, you just all your 4 stones back.
Oh, yeah.
I also think this is really powerful with, again, the Celestial Wing Seraph of pandas.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you have a wind gem, you remove 2 light gems, go grab Emerald, get 4 stones back. Suddenly you have a big creature, and 4 stones.
Yeah.
For technically 1 will and 2 light gems. Like, that's a pretty big swing.
That is a good combo.
I definitely think. And I think it's something pandas needed to be able to, like, put pressure, and I think it establishes that they're definitely a mid-range style deck.
So how many of these do you put in a deck? I'm thinking like 1 or 2 at most, because you don't want these in hand.
I still think you want this in hand, though. I think that because of the fact that it's free, like it's an 8/8, it's an 8/8 body. Okay. Because you got to imagine we're playing we're definitely playing 4 of Cat, who dies and gets you attribute stuff.
Right, I'll see that too.
We're also playing 4 of Discovery, like mandatory, right? Mm-hmm. So a Wind's Gem is not, and we're probably playing Gem Trader, who lets you like get 1 gem and then flash into like banish a light gem, get a different gem.
Yeah.
So I don't think getting Wind is that hard. And then if you get Wind, this card is free.
I'm just thinking if it gets canceled, you are totally out of mana.
Yeah, but
if
you're
on curve.
But also if you get canceled at any time, you're out of mana. Playing
that's
on
true.
curve.
That is true.
So that's not necessarily like,
so if you're going to invest 4, you might as well invest something that's going to attack.
And then it frees it. You know? I mean, like if you're dealing with Abdul, then like, yeah, okay. But Abdul's something we always have to deal with. Mm-hmm. So I think that an 8/8 for free with basic, with just only having a wind, I think is fine. And like as Riken V here says, you know, if you've read that your opponent doesn't have Severing Winds, you just go, okay, I've got a wind gem. Pay for this, recover, pay for this, recover, pay for this, recover.
Okay.
Then put all 4 of them out for free. And then you've got 4 8/8s and you spent 0 will.
Okay.
Like that's...
you convinced me.
Like, I think that this card is probably going to be a pretty close to a mandatory 4 of in Pandas, just because it's got a really strong body, and it again, it's just free. Free cards are always good if Regalia taught us anything. Rip Regalia, don't miss you. Gem Minister Garnet.
I feel like this card is slow.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And I also don't like that it's triple light.
Yeah.
It makes playing her very weird. I do like her giant defense, though.
Yeah. And it gives you, I mean, the idea that it gives you a gem of any attribute is great, and it draws you a card, but you have to weigh this against something like Discovery.
Yeah.
Which Discovery is a lot more accessible because it's only 1 will, and it's quick cast.
I think that in sealed play, that this is less important than competitive play. Mainly because in sealed play, your deck is only 20 cards. And so draw power is not amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, draw power is good, don't get me wrong, but you don't want too much draw power, because then you can just deck yourself out, as I have done many a time back in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Days. It does have really good defense, which is nice, but also I don't, again, for sealed play, I don't like that it's 3 white.
I think you jam it in if you have it, you don't have anything else.
Yeah, for sure. If you're like really heavy white in your sealed pool and you have one of these, I say then go for it. Just because of the 900 defense for 3, and it does replace itself. But outside of that, I think this is more something that's for constructed than sealed.
I'm just making this connection because like someone said something about the pandas all in the bamboo. Astro Lens something about pandas in the bamboo. So what if pandas Are Kaguya's mom and dad?
We're not getting into lore.
Okay.
This is thousands of years in the past in an alternative timeline. And then we go on. We go to Gem Trader, which is a reprint. So we're not really going to talk about that. I do like the alt art.
Yeah.
I think the alt art's I actually like this art better than the other one.
So do we not run this now that we have Cat at all? We don't run this at all. That's kind of what
I need to look at Cat more. I think it's based on whether or not what you're playing against, to be honest. I mean, if you're playing against a really aggressive deck, I think that you probably play Cat, because then it's a blocker, which slows them down. Barry messed up the timeline. Yeah, agreed. I think that if you're playing against aggro in any form,
we really don't need to have that discussion,
because then it's a blocker, so it ramps you as well as slows down your opponent's game plan. But if you're playing against a control who really doesn't care about your one drop, then I think that Gem Trader's better because it's an immediate. It's I think that it's debatable, but
I think it's the same debate as like Tama versus Bird, like which one is
which
better
one
in
is
the situation.
better?
I personally I go for the Cat because the Cat works off field like Bird does.
Yeah, for sure.
But,
it's always a little bit of a trade.
Yeah.
But it's cool that they have that option.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Heavy Arms Panda, just Heavy Arms Panda. This is a beater. I'm not
a bombing construct, not a constructed. Sorry, in drafting.
In drafting this, if you have to draft pretty heavy pandas, but I could definitely see it being a bomb. And 12/12 for 4. That's a good stat line.
Yeah.
So it's technically better than a full cast Squibber.
But
I don't think there's really much to say outside of this. I don't think it's going to see a lot of play in constructed. I don't think this sees any play really in constructed. No. There are better things.
Too expensive.
Jewel Bullet, 400 damage to target non-panda. If it was awakened, deal 800 damage, banish any gem. So 1 drop, 8 damage. In sealed, that's insane.
Yeah, this is an amazing draft card.
Yes, I agree.
Oh my gosh, and I think this for me just shows me that Force of Will is taking sort of a magic philosophy, in that. Just trying to brush through my notes here because I was doing all of this last night and I forgot everything. But it's just something that Light has access to soft removal, something that other people were talking about in the chat here. You don't have to have just destruction in one color anymore or 2 colors. You can have it in all colors, and it supports Panda's mechanic and it makes it more consistent, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. And in sealed, you're probably going to have small cards that are gaining gems anyway, even if you're not playing pandas. Which I think, like observation, right? Like if you're playing light and you don't have a lot of pandas, but you get observations and you get Jewel Bullet.
There you go. Now you have removal.
Ta-da! Then you have removal, because 800 damage for 1 is great. And I also think that with Fafer's spell, which we'll talk about later, not quick cast removal is also going to be important.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that more later. But I
like questions around that card because that card is interesting.
I like this card a lot in sealed. Constructed, maybe. It's more about what they need to try to kill for so cheap that I think is whether or not this is good and constructed. You know what I mean? Like, what are they trying to kill?
I was kind of distracted by the comments, but
sure. It's all good. Technoviz, we are currently in white. So we are still in the light colors.
Yeah.
Let's see. I say against dark, you think of Cat. For anything else, go Trader and get Kez anyway for Astral Lens. Yeah, everybody's a little bit different on it. I have to see how it goes.
Yeah.
Dual Protection. This card, we talked about in the spoilers. I need this card to be quick cast for me to care about it.
Yeah. So, I think that's the real question is, going forward, quick cast or not is going to be something that's really important. I think something like this, instant speed, I would rather just use Magic Suites.
For sure. Or the Wolf that I can ditch. This would be a card that is best served by casting on one of my creatures before I swing.
Yeah.
Or because of the fact that it's one-way trades, or I cast in response to a block. You know what I mean? Because it says prevent all damage, right? So, because then I go, because if I cast this and I declare a certain attribute or whatever, then like my opponent might not block. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas opposed to with combat tricks and force of will, if I like swing and they're like, oh, I'll block with this thing, and I go, okay, well my thing's not going to die.
Right.
But then you've got damage, and I can swing this smaller thing into it. It's a trap kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have quick cast, so I think I have to put this card super low on my thoughts.
Yeah, and makes you sacrifice a gem, which I think
of the specific color.
Right, and so you have to generate that and then use this card. Where Magic Switch is just like, we'll give you a pump and barrier for free.
Yeah, for sure. I like Magic Suits way better.
Or not for free, but you know what I mean. One will we'll give you that in addition.
Hello to the 32 people watching us. Thank you for joining. Jewel Shield reprint.
Yep.
Don't really have much to say.
This is instantly replaced by Discovery, in my opinion. I mean, it might have some battlefield tricks, but I think...
Yeah, the defense buff isn't enough for me.
Jewel Sword is better than this.
I'd rather... Yeah, Jewel Sword is better for sure. Which, hey look, also got reprinted.
Hey. Just funnier. It's funnier now.
It's cuter. I think that this card is probably pretty important for Pandas. Not in sealed. This is not a draft card. Just because, again, in order for it to be any kind of good, you have to have heavy gem support, and it's probably not going to happen in a bigger set. But I think this is a pretty important card for Pandas. Again, because combat tricks. Like, if anything, because they're a mid-range deck, combat tricks are going to be where Pandas shine. And so, shine gems. Puns. So I think that's important. Jewel of Sacred Palace. Jeweler, sorry. 3-drop, tap, banish a light gem, gain a gem of any attribute.
Just trade in your light gems.
I think that's fine. Not in sealed. In constructed, I think that's important enough because Quick Cat, because Summoning Sickness ends at the end of your turn.
Okay.
So you can immediately convert, on their turn, if they try to kill it, then you can still get at least one gem off. But if they let it sit there, then you just get to shift all your gems around, because light gems are the ones they produce the most.
Yeah. Light gems are also the thing that pump Tigris to lethal levels. So it makes me wonder when I'm sitting here drafting Pandas, or I'm sorry, drafting in the sense of making a Panda deck for constructed, I'm thinking light gems and water gems are the most important gems, and now we're getting into wind gems. Those are the 3 most important.
I agree.
So how am I really wanting to cash in light gems? It feels like something I would play if I really needed other kinds.
Right.
I think we're playing for Discovery. That's easy to...
Oh, that's true. Yeah, with this... No, never mind. This card's immediately dead to me.
Yeah, and it's a 3-drop. It's
Yeah, there are better things to play than 3.
Oh, yeah.
And Discovery gets us whatever we want.
Glorious.
Yeah. Light of Transformation. So now we're getting out of some Panda-ish stuff. Seeing some of the other support. Light of Transformation. Remnants.
Here's Julia.
But worse. Remove
Tone down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remove target resonator you control from the game. At the next end of turn, put it into the field under its owner's control. I 100% know why they didn't make this quick cast. Because of the flashing Panda. The banished 2 light gems get you 2 creatures. Because that's pretty insane. And quick cast, dodging like that is pretty insane as well. So, yeah, I think it's fine. I think that because it has Remnant, it might see some intrigue, might see some play. I'm wondering if the creature is just better.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean?
I think this is just a tech card in my opinion. It's a good card, and especially since it has Remnant, you could probably run 1 or 2 copies and see it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I mean, some decks in the future might really value this card. I think it's good.
The other cute thing is this lets you run silly Reanimator tricks or Flicker tricks without playing Lumia, which might see some things, because I think that Reanimator Lumia is, with Lumia combo, is still very much a thing. Because we got the Darkness Reanimate spell, which we'll talk about later. And now, with this, and the creature that flickers, we don't necessarily need to use Lumia anymore.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
we can tech into other colors that are maybe a little bit better for it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
So let's answer just a couple questions here.
Yeah. Clayton.
King Huang. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm saying your name correctly, but no quick cast equals a bad card. I think we're going to talk about more of that once we get into the green support.
For sure.
But I think in general, my opinion of that is that Force of Will is sort of trying to balance out sort of like the basic chance from the quick cast chance, and they're trying to like give a little bit more of an evened out power level to those.
Yeah, I agree.
So now we have to really debate whether or not quick cast is the right answer for a card. I think that's a good thing. Yeah,
I think that it's there are going to be cards. I think this comes also in the sense of the play style of things when Severing Winds came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sequencing became very, very important. When Severing Winds came out. Like, there are times where you'll play not necessarily suboptimal. You'll play a little bit suboptimally because you need a card to stick.
Yeah.
As opposed to risking opening yourself up to Severing Winds.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with Favor Spell, which again we're going to get to later, you're going to want to consider some non-quick cast cards to make an impact. Because especially against screen,
Oh yeah.
Because you can get punished so fast with Favor Spell now. So I think, and I really like that. I really like that it's going to make us think way more about the interactions. And we're also going to, later when we get to the end, we're going to talk about the rules change because I think that's also going to be something people want to talk about.
And what's the strongest structure deck? We're going to be talking about that, I think, more at the end, because that's like not so much about this, but I do have a list of questions, and I've added that one to the list. So don't worry, I am reading your questions. Sometimes I'm getting distracted from the conversation to answer your questions and put them down. But we are going to be answering those, so as much as you want.
Yeah, the guild deck list should be up later tonight. Things got kind of crazy at work today. I ended up having to stay until like 5:45, and I got it at 8. It's a very long day.
Yeah.
But the guild list will be up either tonight or super early tomorrow morning, guys, as well as the Mikage deck list once I get it back from Matt. So it might be a little bit shifted, but I will have both lists up this weekend for you. So next stuff. Magic Light Warrior. I like this. This card is only playable in Pandora, and it's a great anti-aggro card for golems. But golems are bad.
Yeah, they're very slow.
Yeah.
But if they ever get better, this is something you're going to want to look at.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Especially since we already know Pandora's sealed item. So once a turn, she can just unseal something for free.
There you go.
So you play this on turn 1, and you have a 6/6 blocker.
Bye, Sylvia.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean...
Well, okay, she's going to just make it so you can't block, so never mind. But...
Any kind of aggro.
Yeah.
And with things like Red Dwarf, the Goblin thing that has Swiftness that replaces itself.
Oh, Red Cap.
Red Cap. I mean, this is a card that could see answers there. Yeah. So Pandora might hold some secrets that I'm not quite sure of. Magic Shield Warrior. That's a massive defense.
Yeah, no attack, but 1500 defense. Mobilize for 1. So it's...
I don't think you need it.
I don't think you need it either, but it is splashable because you can just pay 1 of
any color.
So maybe if you're like in sealed/draft, it's something
I could see this being that much. Yeah, sealed and draft is a really, really solid blocker, especially if your pool is not very aggressive.
Yeah.
Because you can set up a little bit of a wall for sure. Strictly worse than Mechanical Glue. Agreed. That card was nuts in sealed. But yeah, I think that this card could probably see some sealed play, competitive play. I think that Pandora has better tools. There's not really much else to say about that.
Well, you could say though that this has a bigger defense than any of the attacks of the draft rulers.
That's also very good. Yeah, could be that.
So like 2 of these in a draft deck might be good.
So you can protect yourself.
You have side decks in draft, right?
Any card you don't put in your main deck is your side deck.
So there you go.
In sealed and draft. So that's pretty good. Magic Sword Warrior, 2-drop, 8/6, first strike, mobilize. I guess this is generic Golem support. I don't really have much to say here.
It's good for what it is currently. If we get something better, it'll be replaced. But it's good for now.
It's a card so you can play a Golem themed deck. Our first impressive super rare of the set.
I love this card so much.
Orphica, Dancer in the White Mist. God, I love this card.
The more I look at this card, the more I'm just like, I just want to break this thing open.
I love this card. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not for the art. I mean, the art's pretty good, but I like everything this card does. So first off, as a 4/4, as a super rare, she does get easily killed by removal, which is fine because her job is to enter, do something, and then leave.
Yeah.
The longer she stays around, the more of a threat you have. Mm-hmm. And the thing that makes her so good is you can either answer her, right, because she's making all my pandas bigger.
Yeah. But
when you do answer her, I get to search for a panda.
Yep. And the errata says that she can't, like, flash herself.
Yes,
anymore.
right. So which she doesn't do anything. But anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything.
I guess it says, because she has to go to the graveyard.
Oh, it's an ETB. Okay, so it's not an activate ability. It's
when this card
flash in.
Yeah, so when this card enters the field, remove another target resonator from either side.
Yeah. From
the game. And then at next end of turn, put it into the field under its owner's control. So this is good for yourself for flickering stuff. Again, mm-hmm. It has excellent pandas. Like, this is good outside of pandas.
Yeah.
Just in general, because, again, it's a flicker target. But also for pandas, just like... As a strict... I will shout out to TCG Scrubs. So earlier today, I saw them playing a game. They played their Mikage versus Pandas. And he had previously had Gem Knight Wind on the field.
Okay.
And so he tapped to play some other cards. And then he paid 2, and he played Orphica, and he flickered the wind one, and then recovered his stones.
Oh.
So he had swung with it, and then flickered it, and then recovered a bunch of stones that he had used to play other cards.
There you go.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Like, I think that Orphica is going to be definitely something that people need to look at, just in general. Because flickering in Force of Will is good.
It does. The thing for Pandas is that this card is like, it kind of brings everything else together. Like, the rest of the cards just get better with this card.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's necessarily as good in Concealed, because I don't think there's a ton of really amazing enter effects for Sealed.
Okay.
As we go through the night, maybe I'm wrong about that, but from what I'm remembering, there's nothing where I'm like, 20 card deck, I want this.
Yeah. If I get one of these, I'm going to use it as a way of, like, sort of getting in my attacks.
Yes, for sure. I need to get that blocker out of the way.
Yeah, and if you're running a Panda deck, and it just tutors, so it makes your already small deck smaller.
Yeah, which can be helpful. And it only tutors when it dies, so which is good. And yeah, so if you bring out Umir, you can bring a 1-drop this and a 3-drop flicker Umir, then get 3 extra stuff. Yeah, that's amazing. So she just enters and immediately flickers Umir.
Oh, broken. So good.
Umir Reanimator is definitely back with this card especially, because we don't have to worry about Lumia, and we don't have to use Mephistopheles anymore.
Yeah.
So we can just
there you go.
Create a chase,
Boom.
Which is awesome.
Cancel
I mean, sure. Cancel with Paper Spell. Moving on.
Cancel with a duel.
Panda, or a duel. Right. Panda Acrobat. When this card enters your field, banish a gem. If you do rest target Resonator, it's a 5-drop. I would play this in Sealed. I would never play this Constructed.
I would play 1 in Sealed, and I would get it off of Orphica.
Correct. I would never play this in Constructed. Ever. That is too much cost for too little of an effect.
So we already have anthropomorphic pandas, and now we have anthropomorphic pandas that are clowns with swords.
Yeah, I can't.
Kind of pirates. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't. I can't see this card being played outside of Sealed. Sealed, I think it's fine because again, you need to push through damage.
Yeah.
But because of the fact that he doesn't get to immediately benefit from resting something,
Mm-hmm.
I think that he just is like super meh.
Yeah. Agreed.
Pandora! Moving on. Pandora! Sorry. We'll talk about this side. Her...
Can't read it because it's full art.
So, Judgment for 1, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's good.
But it goes with her theming. And then her Energize is 1, right? Which is always cool.
Yeah.
And then her sealed item is the only thing that makes golems possible. Right now, which is just once per turn, you need the player's turn, you can mobilize something for 0. So if you want to play golems at all, If you mediocre dot ruler, correct. If you want to play golems at all, you have to play Pandora. There's not enough support for me to want to play Pandora, so I'm not playing her.
Still not playing her?
Still.
Are you going to play this side?
Probably still not.
Okay.
So Pandora, if her defense is really huge, so permanently all of your golems are immobilized, which is fine.
Good.
Any damage that your golems would take go to her.
Okay.
Which is fine. So she's in sync because she's got that 10, 20. And then for 4, she can pump all of your guys +4/+4, right? All your golems +4/+4.
Yeah.
It is instant
like
speed, which is fine. It's like a
mini
mini sprint, but again, you have to play golems. So my other problem is she is so easy to kill if your opponent is matching you creature for creature.
Yes.
Because all I have to do is block, and she starts sucking up all the damage. Because she herself is not a golem. Right?
Right.
So she can die very quickly. And we do not, in Sealed especially, we don't have Ryula. So when she's dead, she's just dead.
Yeah, in Sealed, no. And I think if you pull this, you just don't play her in Sealed.
Agreed. You just have a ruler.
Yeah.
Don't draft her.
But that's a theory. So I'm thinking about this card in the sense of, like, in Constructed, we have things like Zero's Magical Protection Circle thing to give protection from stuff, and we have, like, a Manifestation of Power, get rid of additions that might be hindering you. So there's definitely some good light support that might make this a better option, but I don't see her getting above, like, a Tier 2 level of play.
Maybe.
Unless next set we get, like, your opponent can't play creatures because Golem is on the field.
Oh my gosh. Random Golem support.
Oh my gosh.
Just locking people down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that. And then...
I like this card.
I have to remember what this card does.
So many things. You banish a gem with
banish a gem to do a bunch of different stuff. So Light Gem, Rest something, Fire Gem, Burn, 600 damage, that's a lot. What? Are you serious?
Yeah, this card is good.
Water Gem, remove target resonate, bounce something. Wind Gem, draw a card. Dark Gem, discard a card. So let's say we get this at max. So that is gain, rest, burn, bounce, draw, discard. Right? So we've already gone technically -1 because we cast the card. Rest is net 0. Or is still -1 because nothing's actually removed. Net 0 if we kill something with the burn, +1 if we bounce something, +2 if we draw a card, +3 if we make them discard.
Yeah.
So this is potentially a 1-drop +3.
Yeah. You have to banish a lot of game objects to make that happen.
That is very true.
So if you're doing that, I don't want to say this is like one of those big tempo swings, but it's one of those multimodal cards that we've seen in FAO that is so strong. Like,
and it's quick cast.
And it's quick cast.
Yay!
So it's not quite Dawn of the Earth level powerful, but it's very good that it's flexible.
I think you probably play at least 2 of this constructed with Pandas. Sealed, I don't think you play this. Unless you have a heavy... Well, you disagree.
I don't know. I would look at this really, really closely. I might play maybe 1 or 2 if I want it in my side.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll grab 1 or 2 in draft, but I think it's better.
Okay.
Maybe we're giving it credit
for sure.
600's a lot.
It's Thunder, but it's technically 2-cost Thunder.
Technically,
because we have to get the gem, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, do I want to spend 2 cards to draw the Thunder something?
So are gems as valuable as Will though?
Well, I mean, you have to play a different card to get the red gem, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a setup, spike it down kind of thing.
Okay, so in that sense, okay.
Yeah, so...
Unless your cat's dying and you're getting a free gem.
Yeah, hey! Does cat get just any color?
Your cat does.
This card is insane!
Okay, so you like this card. I thought it was underwhelming.
I thought this card was amazing.
I thought it was worse... When I looked at it the second time, I thought it was worse than Transformation Magic. But...
So, here's why I like this card.
Okay.
Right? So it costs 2, which is a lot. But, if you have any form of creature, this becomes a Stoning to Death. With 0 risk.
Okay.
because you pay 2, and it's not even double white. It's
Right.
white and 1.
It's white and 1, so it's splashable.
Right, which is easier to splash than Zero's Magic Light, which
Yes.
is double white. Turn something into a 0/1 and whoop, block with anything,
Yeah.
and the creature is dead.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So back in the format when we had Stoning to Death, 2 black kill anything.
Mhm.
How powerful of a card was that?
That was really good. Yeah.
Right. And Bear Magic was good,
Mm-hmm.
but also you had to have something a little bit stronger, or maybe you had to watch out for maybe being bowed as well, or whatever. And so I think that this is also just completely takes away all your attack.
Yeah.
So you can also use this as a fog.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you don't have a blocker and you're about to spend the 1,500, whoop, fog it.
Yeah. That's why I was so up in the air with this, because I was like, it's different enough from Water Transformation Magic that it's something unique on its own,
Mm-hmm.
but I like the idea that Water Transformation Magic can like chase things to grave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
It's like to prevent effects from the grave activating.
I can see that for sure.
So and Water Transformation as a 1 versus a 2. So that's sort of the things I was looking at, but
Yeah.
I definitely see your side of that. That makes a lot of sense.
This is also a tool, another tool that Mikage loves.
Yes, he does.
He becomes 3-drop kill
Yeah,
anything.
I noticed that immediately. I was like, oh, look at that 100 defense. Perfect.
I mean, we have better because we have the Darkness Arrow, which is essentially Stoning to Death now for Mikage. But
yeah.
this is also I also think this is very good. In Sealed, especially, I think this card is very good because we're going to be keeping creatures for longer for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm in white, I can cast this and steal a kill card from you. A big, like if you have a bomb that's a resonator, I can use this and just answer it with my weakest creature.
Oh, yeah.
And then swing back at you for a massive swing. So I think this is very good sealed.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sacred Temple of Lights. At the end of each turn, if you don't control a resonator, you can banish this card. If you do, search your deck for a golem of any cost and put it into the field. I needed this to cost just 3 for me to care. This costs too much.
So I look at cards like this and I'm like, immediately we should just be ramping with this deck. So we should be playing Sacred Elves.
But you don't want to play Sacred Elves because you'll have creatures.
Exactly. So like, so this needs to be like better.
And the other thing is Pandora has another thing to help her go grab golems,
Mm-hmm.
which is cheaper and better.
Yeah.
And has less requirement. This card is garbage.
Yeah.
In Sealed and Constructed, this card
Don't
is
play it.
bad. Don't play this card. The biggest payoff for this card is the big 5-drop golem.
Yep.
Which we
just
can
kill
also
it.
just grab with the 3-drop spell.
Yeah.
Hey! This panda is so good.
Celestial Wing Panda.
So banish 2 light gems, which we have the most of.
Yes.
Right? Go search for any panda. Put it into the field. Which also can include this.
Yes.
So you can just search for another copy of this, and then remove 2 more light gems, and then grab another panda, and then oh gosh.
So
this is the
I'm
bomb.
waiting for the evil panda at this point.
Correct. This is the bomb that pandas needed. In
Yeah.
Sealed, if you have a panda pool and you pull one of these, take it and run.
Yeah.
Like, take it and run. Because you can play this on curve, super easy, and then you just get 2 creatures for it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's really
so you're in
good.
control of the game.
Like, in Sealed format for sure,
Oh, yeah.
and draft, especially if you can draft a panda pool, this is the one time, like, if I have these, I consider playing pandas Sealed. Other than that, though, Sealed play, like, if I don't have good pandas to support this, it's not as good.
Yeah.
But in Constructed, this is at least a 2 of, if not a 3 of, an enemy panda deck.
Pandas only got better with this card.
Yeah, for sure. It only improved them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we forgot about golems again, thanks to a super good panda card. Agreed! Agreed! Yeah, this guy is an absolute bomb in Sealed. Let's see, here we go. I think we're almost at... Okay, see, this is what I'm talking
so
about.
this is the card you were... Yeah.
So look at the top 7 cards. Put up to 2 golems with total cost 5 or less combined from among them into your field. Put the rest in the bottom of your deck in any order. So, why is this better? Cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
You're naturally in light, so you don't care about double white if you're playing golems.
Right.
Lets you grab 1 to 2,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's a little bit less controlled because you don't get to grab any, but it doesn't look at your field at all when you do it.
Exactly.
And it's also 1 cheaper. So I think that's I think if you're going to, it's consistency for like Twisted Gaming here saying it's collected company for golems, but golems are terrible. So it's good for golems, but golems are bad. So
yeah, it doesn't hurt to have this card, obviously, but I mean,
jeez,
it doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Everyone but me gets a Shin in pre-release. That's fine. I'll just have the rest of the pandas. No one else packs me pandas. Look at all these Shin-Shins. Pandas. Hey, look. Oh, he costs 7.
Yeah.
So I can't bring him out, but I'm still fine with that because I hate this card.
Yeah, this card is just bad.
This card is super bad. Like this card wanted to be good, and then he costs 3 golems. If he had Barrier, I'd be 100% down with this card.
Yep.
But he doesn't, so he's awful. Like, okay, so let's talk about this. So you're paying 7, which is an insane amount for any Resonator.
Or
off
3
the cuff.
golems.
Or 4 if you don't have a field already, which we've already determined we're not doing. Or I can go -2 to play him, and then kill 1 card. So I'm -1, and then it has 0 protection. So it can be pinged for 1 and then shot with a Demon Flame. Or pinged for 1 and shot with an arrow.
Yep.
This card is so bad in every way.
Or it can be made into a 0/1.
Or it can be made into a 0/1 and then you cry.
There you go.
Sorry, this card is so bad. I'm done talking about it.
I also cry everything Twilight Gaming Production.
Oh, it is a gem of any attribute.
This cat is... I
I
love this art so much. It clearly knows it's the best cat in the game.
It's for sure. I think they should have just given it flying, just so it can like laugh in the face of all the other cats, like for no reason. This cat is very good. I mean, it's a 1-drop, it's a blocker, it's got stats, and then you just get a gem of any attribute. So I think that's meh. Yeah.
I don't think he's worthy of a promo.
He isn't worthy of a promo, but that promo is very, very cute.
Yes.
But
I will take that
that
promo.
Grindo. If someone would like, I will say it now, if someone wants to pay the money to have a professional grade vampire promo Grim costume made for me, 100% will wear it to a GP. Like, I will bring it to a GP, and I will wear it, and I will play. In the promo Grim as a professional grade cosplay made. Like, the tights, everything. I will do it. Because that, whew, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I think we're almost out of white. No, we're not. Bird, it's fine. Moving on. That was a reprint.
Yeah.
This was also a reprint.
Nope.
Right?
No, this is not a reprint, but I still would not play it in Constructed.
I played it in Draft.
Draft like 1 of?
Yeah,
2 of.
Yeah, for sure. If you have things to be able to give yourself water gems. Yeah. Sure.
Which I think the draft ruler side lets you the same thing as Tager is you start the game with a
gem of any attribute.
Yeah. So I would just say do water gem.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you just build naturally.
Or wind, if you got that.
But. Or wind if you have that panda, which you should if you're playing pandas in draft.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Moving into red.
Random beast support.
Yeah, real random. It's a thing, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't really have much to say about this card.
So this flavor is really similar to some Kaijudo stuff.
He's not. The problem is though, he gives swiftness to something that's already been on the field, which means that it probably it doesn't have summoning sickness.
Yes, what's the point?
So it's real bad.
Yeah, this card is best when you have like a crap ton of mana and you're just like, I just need to win the game. But even then, like, I still wouldn't play it in my draft deck.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to move a little bit faster because we got a lot of cards to talk about.
So many.
Draft, not constructed. This is a bomb in draft.
Yeah, this is
100%.
good.
Flying in first strike is real good, and that stat line's real good. For in draft especially. Definitely for sure. I'd play this, but outside of that, no. Beast at Mount Hope. I have talked about this card so much. I think this card was necessary for red, and I'm very glad that it exists. I miss Guinevere, but I also don't miss Guinevere, and this pseudo replaces it, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine too.
And Dragonoid's also in my playtesting with Keurig.
Mm-hmm.
Dragonoids need some consistency.
Okay.
I found myself running out of cards very quickly, and
Okay.
Beast Den helps with that for sure.
Just play the 12-toe dragon for free, or for 2, because you have no hand. Just boom, there you go.
And that's maybe. Burning Awakening, reprint from the structure decks. I like this card art way better. Not really much to say there. Demon Watcher, 5-drop, 8/6. I think this is garbage in every format. It's so expensive.
Don't play
It's
it.
so expensive. I guess maybe if you have a really heavy sealed pool for red.
Just as a flyer, though.
And it burns. If it burned player, this would be a draft bomb.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, so I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on. I guess it can help you trade with big things, but that's fine.
This is part of Kame's effect for 5.
Recover target resonator, gain control of it until end of turn. I'd rather just play Kame.
Yeah, Kame is better.
It's better.
It's cheaper. It does more effects, and it stays on the field.
Yeah, and it's a bot. It does you more stuff. So it's more of a tempo swing. I don't think this card is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess I could see this card being used in draft.
Yeah. Like
Again,
if you're like running a control deck and draft, and you're
so you need to steal. So you need to steal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, very mediocre, Santiago. I'd agree. Dino Rush. This has. Oh wait, it's already been errated here.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So 2-drop, one-sided Duel of Truth. This is very good sealed.
Okay, yeah, I think that's also true. In comparing it to Duel of Truth, I think this is a little bit better because it is one-sided, but you're also trading J-Ruler hate a little bit.
You were losing J-Ruler hate for it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really think there's much to say. Like, removal, because it's one-sided, removal in draft is always good.
Yes.
And if you're playing red, you're playing creatures, so this just gets to say, okay, kill your dude, then swing, which I think is fine. And it's not instant speed, which means it's harder to cancel. Dragon Call, search your deck for a dragon. This card is so necessary for... If you're playing Dragonoids, play it as a 4-up, moving on.
Yep.
I think that's
Keep going.
what I have to say there.
Yep.
Dragonoid Martial Artist, 5-drop, 14/8 vanilla.
Draft.
I
One of them at most.
guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
I would look at it just because of the attack stat, but that's it. Like,
yeah, but it's so easy to kill.
It's easy to kill. Yeah.
It's easy to trade with. Unless use this. That's fine.
Yeah.
I think, but other than that, I also 0-100s is high.
Yes.
Again, it's just environmental researcher Fabre. Get a 10/10 dragon with flying. This is definitely a draft card. 2 creatures for 3, or 2 creatures for 5. One of which is a 10/10 flyer. I think that's fine.
Yeah, that's great.
I definitely could see this being played in a control deck in Constructed for red.
Okay.
Because I think that Keurig has some control potential. And Obsidian Dragons, whatever, is bonkers in that set. So it's a 3-drop, 1 black, 2. Count the number, destroy up to X target resonators your opponent controls.
Okay.
Where X is the number of Dragonoids and non-Dragonoid dragons you control.
Okay, so a card that was previously not usable, that's why I don't know about it.
Keurig himself is a Dragonoid.
Yes.
So at bare minimum, that card is a 1-cash removal. So you imagine you play this for 5.
Yeah.
They both stick, and then the next turn you have a 3-cast, remove 3 things. And potentially more.
So like a Dragonoid control going forward.
I could see that for sure.
We have Ryula, so we can heal things, and we're in multiple colors at that point anyway. So
for sure.
It's interesting.
I definitely think that this is a card for draft for sure.
Her with dragons, with Orphica for more dragons.
Yeah, just whoop, whoop.
That's good.
Yeah. Erufant, 3-drop, 7/7, beasts you control gain swiftness. Now that means he gets swiftness, because he's a beast. So he's a 7/7 with swiftness. And whenever another resonator you control attacks, he gets bigger. I think this guy's actually pretty good and sealed.
Yeah.
Because he's bomb, right?
Okay.
So what you can do is you can go play him. He's going to come in this turn. We already talked about how there's little removal. So then I swing with all my dudes, he gets really big, and now you've blocked everything. And so,
on his own, I think he's good for draft.
Yeah.
When I look at this, I see like, oh, this is trying to be integrated with the beast support, and the beast support is awful. Yeah, so I don't want to run this, but draft maybe.
Yeah, for sure. I can see him in draft if your creature pool's heavy.
Yeah.
He does cost 3 red though, which is meh. Explore Mount Hole, 7/5 for 2. Reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a spell, put it into your hand. Counterintuitive. Good in draft.
Yes.
Because it's consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Counterintuitive for red.
Yes.
But, yeah. He wants to be controlled, but he wants to rush out Dragonoids. I don't see how to do both things at once. I don't think you have to rush out Dragonoids necessarily. I was doing some testing, and I found that 10 counters is usually enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't really need to play the 1-drop gain 2 stuff like that. So, like, I feel like there's a way to build him so where you're being a little bit more conservative with strength counters that pushes him more to control. Where you're not really going to be flipping him that often. But we'll see. Shift this back up. Sorry, that got a little weird. Fiendfire! This card
yes,
is,
I like this. This is
card
so
is
good.
So good. Is it in every format? This card is good at... Why are all the super rares in this set so good? Except for Thunderfish. We'll get there. Fiendfire, I think, is really good. It's just really good. Because you only need to pay 1 black to make it a lifelink spell.
Oh, yeah.
And it hits player or resonator.
It's really good in... See, I'm thinking, like, if Mikage still runs red, this is still good.
He does.
Yeah, I think he still does.
So now he has Vlad, too. So now it's Mikage and Vlad.
It's Mikage and Vlad.
And he got Vitality, right?
Yes. And they're both vampires, so it's all in theme.
It's fair. I think this card is very, very good.
Oh.
I think this is a better Schrodinger's observation because it's cheaper.
Yes.
And it's more in line with the colors that would want to do burning like this anyway.
Absolutely.
Right. So for
3,
I can burn for 4 life, ping something, gain something, which is the same as Schrodinger's at 3, but it's in better color. I just think it's in better colors.
Yeah. So in Alhamad, how do you like this card?
I don't care.
Okay.
To be honest, I don't really know what Alhamad looks like post rotation. He lost the things that made him appealing. He lost Black Moonbeam. And this isn't an ancient magic, so I can't search it.
Yeah. So you can't just like put in all of it. It's not Steam Explosion. Is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
I might as well just play Steam Explosion.
Pretty much.
Because I can search that. Fire Dragon Egg. When it dies, this card is put into a field from the graveyard. This is too expensive.
Yeah.
This is too expensive.
You play this if you don't already have the Dragonoid that brings out a token immediately.
Yeah. I guess in Sealed this is kind of okay.
It's like we're gonna get you something.
It's not aggressive. It's not a very aggressive format.
It's a very passive card.
Yeah. So, but also the Ancient Knights by itself is not a very aggressive set.
Yes, it's very well rounded.
Sealed, this could be like, I'm just gonna put this out there.
Yeah.
And if you answer it, or if you try to swing or be foolish with it, you give me a 10/10.
Exactly.
This turns into a bomb.
Right. But they could 0/1 this.
It's already a 0/1.
Exactly. Please waste your card.
Flame Style. What's this? Flame Style? Yeah. 4-drop. This card deals 700 damage to each resonator. I hate this because it hits my stuff too. Moving on.
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't want to talk about it. So bad. Flame Drill deals 1,000 damage to target resonator with flying. Deals 1,000 resonators to a second resonator with flying if this card was awakened. This is a fantastic sideboard card.
Yes.
This is not a main board card by any means.
No.
Because it doesn't have a mode to hit something if it was a resonator.
Right.
If its awakening was to hit another resonator, so like hits flying first or spend some counters to hit something that's not flying, then I'd play this main boarded for sure. It's strictly better than the 1-drop burn for X. And I think that's why they made it flyers only, because they didn't want to replace the 1 for X spell.
So there's more variety.
Yeah, so this is definitely a sideboard card, though, for sure.
Yeah.
100%. Because if you're playing against flyers, you just go, you just punch them.
Bye.
So you go. Food supply! Again, everything got like a 1-drop quick cast that boosts it up.
It's automatically good because they designed it to be good and you draw a card. So thanks.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yep.
Gourmet Chef Sherry Shara 4-drop 10/10. That's a bomb. That's a bomb. And if you're playing This is a really good sealed bomb.
Yes.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're playing the draft ruler for red.
Yeah, whatever that one is.
It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it just becomes a refill
Yeah.
for 4. So you don't have to judgment to refill, which is
Mhm.
nice. I think this is a very good card for red.
Big is love.
In general.
Big is love.
Hellflame, we talked about this before. It's the 1-drop plus X, burn something for X. It does steal targets to J ruler, which I think is super important.
Yeah, that's...
But I like this artwork better as well.
Something to be said, if you spend your 10 strength counters, you just kill one of the draft rulers right out with a 1-drop.
Yeah, which is really good.
So good.
High speed, remnants, target resonator gains +2/+2 in swiftness. You can awaken it to remove 4 counters. It deals 400 damage to your opponent. So it's a burn spell, and it's swiftness, everything else. I'm fine with this card.
Yeah.
It essentially just means that for 1 more red, you can make a bomb have swiftness, which in Seal I think is very good.
Yeah. I think going forward it also has potential because it's the flicker for this set. It's that same like card of like we're going to introduce this concept onto a slower card that has remnant but has a very strong and compelling effect.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
So,
I agree. It's pretty good. Hollow Pig is a reprint with better artwork. Just
it's crouching to act before and now it's acting.
Yeah, for sure.
Great.
Heliosaurus also a reprint. Deals 300 damage to target J/res. 2-drop 6/6. I think this is probably very, very good if your draft pool is heavy red.
Yes.
Because spot removal is good, especially if you're on the play. Or if you're on the draw. Heck, energize this turn 1.
Yep.
Ping their 1-drop off the board.
Bye. Now you're behind. Yeah.
And now they wasted their turn 1. And you used your energize, but their field is clear.
Yep.
So then you're basically back on curve.
And you have a threat. 6/6 is pretty good.
For 2, yeah. Especially on turn 1. So. This card is so good. For those of you who played back in Grim Cluster, there was Little Dread, the fake red moon. That card, people didn't look at it at first, but once people started looking at it, that card was in everything.
Yes.
That card was good.
Bloody Arla was so fun because of that card.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to just steal your stuff. I'm stringing it for you. Oh. Yeah, that's not good. And then sacrifice it. So 4-drop 10/10. This is if you draft one of these, or if you get one of these in your pool, you're playing red. Congratulations, you're in red.
Yeah.
When this card enters your field, remove target resonator with total cost 2 or less your opponent controls, or recover it, and then steal it, and then it gets swiftness. So you automatically get to pull something out of the way. You get it, and then you get to swing with it. And then, whenever a resonator you control attacks, you deal 200 damage. So you're stealing something, swinging with, and pinging for 2.
Yep.
All while putting a 10/10 on the board. And if you happen to pay 1 more, you can then sacrifice that creature and then give Cave Swiftness.
All the best parts of Valentina and all the best parts of Leviton in one card. Super, super good. And it's a 4 cost, which
is so good. I'm sorry, this card is amazing. Yeah. If you get this, just play it. Don't even care. Just play it. And like even if none of the rest of your cards are red, you play this card.
Yep.
Like because that you play a draft ruler, and then you get the 2 counters that you can just banish to produce any color to like filter.
Yeah.
So like
there you go.
You still have the ability to just play this at least once, regardless of your ruler.
You're gonna have a good time.
It's good. It's good.
Yes, indeed. We're about a third of the way through the set.
Yeah, working right on. Maybe the last cards will move so quickly. Master of Faithful Beast. So 3-drop 7/7 Dragonoid. Search for Beast, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle your deck. I mean, this is fine for Priscia. I think we have to imagine that Priscia Shift can play more beastie stuff, and it falls in red, so she can go back to her beastie roots.
Yeah, it's good that we have Beast tutorability. I wish it were like on something a little bit better, so like Beasts have something a little bit better. I think this is like kind of late in the game for me to play something like this. But only in Priscia is it going to be viable, right?
Yeah, and we don't have enough beasts in Ancient Knights.
Yeah.
I think that makes this a draft bomb.
Yeah.
Right? If it was a draft, then like this would be fine because it searches and its consistency and things of that nature, but we don't have enough beasts.
All of the Dragonoid art reminds me so much of Kaijudo's fire stuff.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Red Cap! 1-drop 2/2 with swiftness that if you kill it, I get another one into my hand. It's good.
I love it.
It's just the new Rook Egg.
And it's a common.
But it's a better Rook Egg.
Yeah, so it's a good common.
It's a less OP Rook Egg, but it's still a Rook Egg.
Yeah. It's a more offensive Rook Egg.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I like
and it's
that.
common too, so it's something you're going to see a lot of potentially
Yeah, well,
in draft.
I don't necessarily think in draft because you have to see a lot of it in order to make him good.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, never mind.
Constructed though, if you're playing red, you're probably playing 4 of.
Yeah.
Stone-tongued basilisk. It's 2-drop 6/5. It becomes an 8. There's just better cards than this.
Yeah, at least you're fetching it out of the deck with that 1/3-drop Dragonoid that searches it out of your deck.
I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
I guess if you need to fill a slot in your draft pool and you're playing red, you play this.
Yep.
But other than that,
Mm-hmm.
2-horn Amara. This is a beast that I know some people are really excited about.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is actually pretty good in draft.
Yeah, I agree. It's sort of
because-
it's the dragon from BFA that when it came in, it dealt damage to itself. But this deals damage to you.
Which is still fine. You essentially, on turn 1, get a 5/5.
Yeah,
Which I think in draft is relatively good.
it's dope.
I think outside of draft, this is less good.
Mhm.
But, I mean, it's a bomb. Or it's an early game aggro threat.
Unless you're playing Freyla. Yeah,
No one's going to play Freyla.
don't play Freyla, guys.
She's,
Well, if you do,
I'm so disappointed.
and you win with it, let us know.
I'm so disappointed in Dark Elves. Vanish in Fire.
Sick.
5-drop battle chant. As an additional cost, remove any number of strength counters. Deals X damage to each Resonator your opponent controls. If a Resonator took damage by this card would put into a graveyard, remove it from the game instead. So this is Red's board wipe. In
Yes.
traditional settings, it costs 5, but it also costs me strength counters. But it also RFG stuff, which gets out of the way of enter the graveyard effects.
Mm-hmm.
I think I am 100% okay with this card. For control, Carrick.
Yeah,
And
for
outside
control,
of that,
for
no.
control, I think it's there. I would think I'd be a little bit concerned about the needing 5 red. But if you're playing Carrick, that's your main color anyway, so your stones are probably going to be like all red and some other color.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I think it's something you should consider going into that list.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because you might need it.
Mhm.
Into
Water
blue!
cards,
We're into
water
water!
cards.
Hooray! So let us see. Alternating current crystal. 4-drop 0/10. Golems you control are mobilized.
So that's good.
Pay 1 blue, 1 colorless, and tap. Put a golem from your hand into the field. Just realized this is a card.
Wait. So this is pretty good.
It's very expensive.
Yes, it is very expensive.
However, it's got a really good defense, and you can grab it with a 3-drop spell.
Can you though? It's not a golem.
Oh, it's a magic life form. Dang it!
So
Immediately worse.
So my plan of ramping into this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be, this would be
Yeah.
what you would ramp into
Yeah.
with golems. Because, yeah, it's, dang it.
Yeah.
If this was a golem. If this was a golem, I would consider golem control. But it's not, so I can't. If you get one of these,
Well,
if you
at
get one of
least,
these in
at least
draft,
we're trying.
Yeah.
This is
a
a
draft
good
card.
step.
This is a good step for draft.
Yes.
Because then you need to be able to, like, you might grab the 15/15, or
Mhm.
this one, is it 15/15 or 20/20?
It's a 2020.
20/20, but you don't have enough golems to be able to banish it,
Right.
and so you can use this little boy here and
Mhm.
go whoop, and that's a 1-for-1, which is
Yeah.
much better. Yeah, and then you've got a 20/20 on board that
Mhm.
you have to answer when removal is helpful, or removal is limited.
Yeah.
So definitely a sealed card or a draftable card. Aqua Rifle Mermaid.
Oh, this art is so nice.
This is a reprint.
Mhm.
So if the weather is rain, which it should be on your turn when you're playing this,
Yeah.
because you don't have quick cast,
Most
you
of the time when
get
you play
to
this card,
pay 3-drop, put something back. It's a tempo swing.
yeah.
It's good and sealed if your color is blue.
hmm
Outside of that, it is not.
So I'm running one of this in the Shayla list that I currently have. I have not updated that list for Ancient Knights and everything like that that's coming out. Because I don't have the cards in hand, I'm not going to do that. But I do like this for the idea of, on turn 3, I can just play this nice body that pushes my opponent's tempo back a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's one of those things that the more stuff you have on field, the stronger it gets.
Because then you create a hole.
Yeah.
Rusalka.
Yep.
Yeah.
PBR.
Well,
Oh, no. Better Rusalka.
It's the better Rusalka.
Yeah,
because
the
it's also a
Rusalka.
3. Yeah, it's also a 3-drop.
So
Kajuda, wasn't that Rusalka also a 3-drop?
no.
It was a 4-drop too.
It was also a 4-drop.
Well, this
But
is
it was stronger. Anyway.
Whatever. Kajudo!
Kajudo.
Let's see. And so my reason to play this over Undyne. So
You can search
Undyne, this is searchable. But if you're playing a quick cast deck, so if you're trying to play like Blue Planet or something like that,
Yeah, Blue
then
Planet,
Undyne is
yeah.
definitely just immediately better.
Yeah. Cheaper.
But also this card hits any resonator,
Mm-hmm.
whereas Undyne, is only good if you have a lot of stones.
Yeah, it varies. It gets better later as the game goes, but this is just you two nerds and you got judo. Yeah.
Yeah, stop it. This card is garbage!
Why is there a panda in blue? This makes no sense.
This card is so bad. So true drop 5/7. When it enters your field, banish a water gem if you do search your deck for a mermaid. But the problem is, pandas and mermaids have no synergy. They have 0 synergy. This card is garbage. We're not talking about it. Moving on.
Okay.
Bubble Golem. 2-drop 10/10. At the end of battle, banish it if it attacked or blocked. I wish that wasn't a thing, but I know why it is because its stat line is huge and you can mobilize for 0.
Yeah.
This is probably still a card you play in golems, though.
You can flash it in with the magical life form dude that costs 4.
Yeah,
If
maybe.
for some reason you have Library of Alexandria out.
Yeah, I could see this card potentially being a bomb because of its low cost in draft. Right? So its mobilizes only 1, and it's 10 damage.
Yeah. So it's a flexible bomb in draft.
Yeah,
can
for
say
sure.
that.
Because also it banishes at the end of battle.
Mm,
It's not even at the end of turn. So you can't like flicker it to save it.
right.
Just garbage. Moving on. Cleansing Rain. This is a reprint. This is a reprint.
Yeah.
With better art.
It is a root.
If the weather is rain, you go to the top of their deck. If otherwise, you bounce it back to their hand. I think this is fine. I think this is going to be good for draft.
Yeah.
Because it's a technical -1, but in draft, getting anything off the board forces your opponent to recommit when resources are minimized, which I think is good. I definitely think this is a draftable card.
I love this card. I run like 3 of it in my deck.
I mean, it's quick cast.
Yeah,
so
so
for
it's
sure.
really strong.
Confinement. I think this is an okay-ish card.
Yeah.
It is a -1, -2.
It
If you
says
remnant it.
you can't lose the game this turn, and you can't lose the game next turn.
If you only have 1 resonator.
If you have 1 resonator, like they have a blazer or something.
Yeah, this card is the, I have 19 cards in my deck, I need 1 more.
It has a niche, I think, though.
Yeah, I think overall, though, it's pretty...
Yeah,
eh.
it's lacking something.
Yeah, for sure. We're up to 47 people watching us.
Woo!
Thank you guys so much for joining in.
We would have 48 if TCG Scrubs didn't leave.
They left.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that they had to leave.
Okay.
Well, he was driving home, so...
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Don't keep in mind, keep your comments coming or tweet us and all that jazz. Feel free to also email us with any questions you might want for future podcasts that Paul and I do together. And if you feel like supporting the channel and the stuff that we do, please check out the Patreon. You can type in from up below or click the link down below. And we are going to be doing, it's our private Discord server, and we have access to that community, and we do monthly game nights starting in September. We're going to do monthly Lackey patron-only game nights, monthly free giveaways. We just gave away Reflect Refrain. We're going to be giving away another Reflect Refrain Judge promo at the end of this month. And we're going to have tournaments for free on Lackey every single month. And the winner of this month's tournament is getting a free Feasting Judge promo. If you haven't seen one of those, let me know. I can go get one so you can see them.
It's adorable.
It is amazing, but any support that you guys can give is awesome and also gets you put in that community and all that stuff and helps to support the content on the channel. And you guys can get better influence on the content we produce here on the channel by being part of that Patreon. So thank you guys so much for being a part of it. And if you guys check it out, much appreciated. Jumping right back in. Sorry for that little ad here. Coral Reef Mermaid. 3-drop 7/7. When it dies, return target resonator your opponent control. This is actually, I think, really good and sealed.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's if you're going to invest in something, you want to be able to push their tempo back.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of that in mermaids now. I'm wondering if that... Whoa, all darkness.
Suddenly all of your text started getting really dark. That's really weird. pop in the chat and fix it. Ooh. 1 second, people.
Popping the chat.
And pop out chat. Hopefully that fixes it. There we go.
Ooh.
Back.
Software.
Hooray! So yeah, I think that in draft especially, I really like this card because this says I'm going to push for damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you block it and kill it, then you're going to lose something else too.
Yeah.
And it also says if you try to push for damage when you're not prepared for it, you're going to lose something. And anything that you can do, especially in sealed, to disrupt your opponent's tempo, I think is pretty good.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it has like value in constructed in any sort of way, because it's the opposite of Aqua Rifle Mermaid, right? So like it dies and then you can like push their Abdul back into their hand so you can go off.
But if water had stuff to be able to sacrifice resonators, then yes, I would agree with you on that. But I think that Aqua Rifle or Mermaid is constructed is strictly better.
Yeah.
Because if you're playing blue, you have access to Charlottes.
Yeah.
So you can just turn off an Abdul and then bounce it.
Yeah.
And potentially bounce it back, because then also the weather is rain. So then you put it back on the top of their deck.
Oh yeah, that's better.
Yeah, that's just.
Don't listen to me, guys. Don't listen to me.
Electrical discharge.
So I like this. This is the first card I wrote about
In blue?
in my notes when I saw this.
Okay.
It's sort of like the nail in the coffin for Rainless in a way.
Explain while I go get us water.
Sure thing. So what I'm thinking about, guys, is it's sort of a source of minor removal, and you sort of ensure the game. So they tap down stuff, or they rest things to go all in, and you sort of freeze them where they're at, and then you just sort of attack in with your stuff. That's sort of like in my head that makes more sense. Maybe it's like a one of in a constructed list, but in draft, I don't know either. The idea that it deals 600 damage is nice in Rain. Can kill Abdul as blue, not bad. Okay. Yeah, that's true. I like that. Just keep your questions coming.
What's going on?
If this had quick cast, it'd be really good. Yeah, I think also that's a good point. If this had quick cast, it'd be even better.
Just two things can't attack or block, right?
Yeah, so
or don't recover.
It just freezes two creatures.
I think this card is insane. This card deals 100 damage to them if the weather is rain.
600 damage.
600 damage to them if the weather is... This card is a bomb and sealed.
Yeah, I think it's good and sealed.
Because it's also... Because at minimum, it's a burn spell.
Yeah.
Which in sealed is good. And at maximum, it just says cool, like it's a tempo swing. But yeah, if it had quick cast, this card would be insane. But thankfully it doesn't. So I'll try and get back on camera here.
Okay.
Moving right along, we have Giant Squid. 3-drop, 5/10 vanilla. Moving on, we have Guard at the Coral. That card is just irrelevant. I think it's a blocker, I guess.
Hydrobot Crab.
Super, yeah. Is it the Evo Hydrobot Crab, though? Guard at the Coral Palace. 3-drop, 4/12. This is like automatically better than Squid. When the card attacks or blocks, look at the top card of your deck. You can put it on the bottom of your deck. I think this is really good in sealed.
Yes, I also agree.
If you're in blue.
Yeah.
Because the defense is really good, and anything to be able to add consistency to what you need in a sealed pool, especially when you only have 20 cards. Or, sorry, no. By the time you get to play this card, you have at least... or at most 15 cards left in your deck. Or no, that's not even there because you're playing it on turn earliest turn 2. So you have at most 14 cards left in your deck. So any kind of consistency you can add in sealed, I think, is very good. And it's just every turn. So you just can go, nope, I don't need that right now. I'll get this. Nope, I don't need that.
And undrafted, you draft the other mermaid support. You can just fetch this thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So
absolutely. Keys, the Wise Dolphin. I also think that this card is very good in sealed because flying is important for cheap. It's got good defense, so it's also a blocker while you're waiting to use it. Outside of that, I think this is garbage.
Yeah, I don't use this outside of draft.
He's too expensive.
Yeah.
His spell's really good though.
This is so good.
Speaking of keys, his keys call this card. If you don't want to play black, this says okay. I also don't have to worry about instant effects. Which I really like that every single color has a 1-drop, do something, draw a card.
Yes.
Quick cast spell.
Mm-hmm.
Because Fafer has Fafer's. Does Fafer's spell replace itself? I don't think so.
No, I don't believe.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I don't think it does. Let me look at my notes here real quick.
We'll get there.
Yeah, it doesn't do it.
But every color has a 1-drop, like, do something, draw a card.
Yeah.
Which I think is great. And this card is fantastic.
It's
It means that
definitely
you
one of the
can,
better ones.
when we lose Lunar Lake, this means that you can go back and still play blue and cancel stuff. So it's really good. Magic Sound Warrior. Gosh, so buff. 5-drop, 12/12, mobilize for 2. Whenever your opponent plays a chant, recover this card. I guess.
I think it's better than the 7-drop because it's a little bit cheaper. It's still got a decent stat line. You still shouldn't play golems.
That. Yep. I agree.
Still
Chance
don't play
sounds
golems.
so
Don't
good.
play golems.
Magic Warrior, 4-drop golem, 4-drop 9/9, flying, mobilize for 2. This is a draft card.
Yes.
For sure. This is a draft bomb. Because it's a really good stat line, it's got flying, and it's got a pretty cheap mobilize.
Yeah.
That's colorless. So
This
if
is
you
definitely
get
one of the better golems.
of the golems, yeah.
Yes.
This is if you get this in draft though, this is really, really good. The name of the set is 100% don't play
Play
golems.
golems.
Ancient Knights, subtitle line, do not play golems. I really think that they're going to get more support later.
Yeah.
But right now it's not. Magic have Magical Tidal Surge. Turn all non-water resonators to their owner's hand. We have a spell that does this but better.
Remember what that spell is, because I'm not reminding
Rise
you.
from the Depths.
Rise from the Depths. Rise from the Depths. Yes. Okay, I got it. The Ancient Magic.
Yeah. So Scott, I mean, I guess it's. I guess the other thing to note is they've essentially given every color, except green, yet a 5-drop board wipe.
Yeah. Well, they
so-
gave it the Tornado card, which is
It's
not
in
a.
the, isn't it in the set?
It's in this set. I think this is. Yeah, I think cards like this are good because you have to like evaluate them based on what your strategy is, and I think if you're going into a more control style water list with water creatures, this is good.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Because you can just clear the way. This could also be a bomb and sealed if your pool is really heavy water. Because you could just like have lethal,
Yeah.
but everything's in your way. So
Yep.
you just go, move on.
Slow.
This card is awful! Mainly because of the fact that we have no way to make the weather thunderstorm.
Yeah, I like the idea of this card giving us an insight into what's coming for Shayla's Seal Item potentially.
For sure.
And then what else did I think about this?
Put into a graveyard from your field and return target resonator your opponent controls to its owner's hand. If the weather is rain, put it on top of their owner's deck instead.
Yeah.
This card gains +2/+2 and swiftness as long as the weather is thunderstorm. If I'm gonna, so here's the other thing, is I'm gonna play this over the 3-drop 7/7 Mermaid.
Yes.
Better stat line.
Yes. I
And it
agree.
potentially does even more. So I could see this in sealed
Mhm.
more so than I could see the
other one.
the
Yeah.
3-drop 7/7 that does the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Ocean Floor Archeolon. Blocking doesn't card this card to rest. I think that's in sealed, but it's super expensive. And then 4-drop cards gains +4 and a grand defense. Cannot be blocked, so we don't unblockable. I don't think I can play this card in like any form.
Not even in draft.
It's too expensive. 6-drop. I don't have a good way to reanimate. I don't have a really good way to like bring him out fast enough.
And if you're playing black, we do it with the 4-drop reanimate spell.
But this is double blue.
Yeah.
That card's double black.
Yeah.
Splits my color
So
base too much.
in draft, it's really hard to make that happen.
Unless
you do the whatever's printed on the draft rulers to fix.
What's to fix will?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, use the 2 coins.
Yeah.
I guess. Still feels weird.
Yeah.
Because then I also have to get him to grave.
How do you do that?
There's not very
Exactly.
much in water.
Yeah,
This
there's
card
not
is
very-
bad.
Yeah.
I think you pass it. He's only an uncommon, which is fine. Pandora's Order, 4-drop quick cast. Put in target golem from your it's mobilized until end of turn. At the next end of turn, return it to your owner's hand. This is Dance of the Shadows for golems.
Yep.
This is one of the only few ways I will play that 2020.
Yes.
Because
Or the
I
12,
will
12.
I will
Or the
cast
9.
this at the end of my opponent's turn.
Yes.
At
The very
very end. Bring it in, kill something, go to my turn. Doesn't have summoning sickness. Mobilize it for free for Pandora and swing in. And then it dies.
Yep.
Which I'm okay with that.
Which we're
But
also
then I can
playing.
flicker it.
You can flicker it with Orphica.
So I can
or
go,
with the spell. The remnant
yeah,
spell.
exactly.
Yeah.
This is probably... If golems were playable at all, you'd have to use this card.
Yes, I agree.
Oh, look, a not-so-trash card for a trash deck. Priestess Shayla's Attendant, 1-drop 3/3. As long as the weather is rain, becomes a 5-drop. This is a reprint with really nice artwork.
Good in draft.
If you're playing that.
Yep.
Seabed Investigation. I really like this card.
Yes.
Put a... So...
Don't make Lumia golems.
Because it's any of them. I have to make Lumia Golems a thing for the channel, but sorry. I have to make Dark Elves too, and they're even worse than Golems in my opinion. If you control a mermaid, put 2 cards into your hand. Here's the thing though. Shayla
is a mermaid.
So if you're playing Shayla,
Yeah.
this becomes a 2-drop draw 2. Or 2-drop look at 4, keep 2.
Yeah.
It's real good.
So yeah, there was some discussion about that on the Force of Will US page, where do the rulers count? And yeah, they do.
Yeah, because you control them.
Yeah.
That's why Bahamut, back in the old days, before they flipped back over to their ruler side, that was why Bahamut didn't care if it died, because it just stayed a dragon. And then Realm of the Dragon King saw that you controlled Bahamut.
So you just
So that it did 8 damage to everything that enters.
there you go.
Shayla's Elite, also not a reprint. 2-drop 6/6. When it enters your field, search for a mermaid. Name Shayla's Elite. Add it to your hand. This is a pretty good draft card.
Yeah, I think this is a really good draft card. I think
it replaces itself.
I think it definitely might be something you want to consider for a constructed list too, because it's a decent body. It's a mermaid. You can. You're good. I'm a little distracted.
Sorry.
It's okay. You can grab your aqua rifle mermaid for turn 3 play.
Yeah, for sure.
And push them back even further. So if they try and mess with your tempo, you can just anti-tempo.
Well, this can't grab any mermaid. It can only grab Shayla's Elite.
Not name Shayla's Elite.
Oh, not name Shayla's.
Yeah, so
even better.
Everything but itself.
Yeah, so you can grab your 3-drop. Yeah, this is pretty good. I think this is probably pretty standard in constructed.
Yeah, is this a common or a rare?
It is a base rare.
It is a base rare, so not too hard to get.
Not too bad. Shayla's Foresight, also an amazing card.
Yes, I also really love this card.
Because modal cards are always good, and it's got 3 modes.
I think it's 4.
Oh yeah, it's got 4, and you can choose 3. So, return to attacking dude, return an addition to the top of its owner's deck, reshuffle the deck, or just basically draw a card, or replace itself.
Yeah.
So this is Dreams of Juliet, but for blue.
Yeah.
Holy crap, this is actually just It's Dreams of Juliet plus Zeke's for blue.
I love this card.
This card's really good.
This
is probably a standard 4 of in any mermaid deck.
Yeah.
Because it does so much.
Yeah, I'm mostly zero in on like the shuffling the graveyard effect because we don't have Horn anymore. But it makes me think of maybe doing some sort of control list with Shayla.
Oh yeah.
Like Bug Shayla, maybe.
Ooh, I can see that.
Yeah.
Song of Sympathy, 4-drop. If you control 2 or more mermaids, gain control of target resonator. Permanent. Permanent control. So which means you only have to control one mermaid if you're playing with Shayla.
There you oh dang. I keep forgetting the ruler counts. Yes. That is so good. This is a control card for sure.
100%. 100%. Can't play it in sealed though.
Hang on.
Maybe you can.
Maybe. If the draft ruler counts as a mermaid, it works.
I believe it does, but we'll get...
Yeah.
Yeah.
To steal their bomb. That's good.
That's really good in sealed.
Yeah.
But then you have to commit to heavy blue. I'm not sure if I care about that.
I just want to point out this. So you get to return an attacking dude to the top of the deck, then shuffle their deck, then actually replace this for just 2 mana. Yeah. That's
oh,
really...
wow. Yeah, you do it in those... you do it in those orders. So just like, put that back, get rid of it. I'm not draw a card.
Yeah.
But only if your ruler is Shayla.
Is it only
the draft?
Shayla?
The draft ruler won't count. Yeah. So the draft ruler won't do that. So it's good for constructed, not good for sealed. This, however,
that is a good way to getting rid of Abdul and Shayla.
Oh my gosh, that's a really good way of getting rid of
Abdul. Yeah. So everything I said earlier about like things, just ignore all of that. This card is strictly better.
Spinning Aquasoul. This is a card that I think everyone is going to love.
Yes.
Sorry, I need to move this a little bit so I can see things.
Whoop.
This is excellent for control.
Yeah, I think this is a really good card. They definitely gave Water a lot of control support. In Keys' Call, in this card, in the Take Control card.
Bug, I think, is... Oh, Bug is so good.
But even, like, in the Tempo variant, this is still, like, a 1 or a 2 of.
Agreed.
Yeah, so this is... it's got a lot of utility.
Recycle the Take Control card.
Yeah, and this is a common, too.
Yeah, I think this is... really good.
Yeah, it gives you more deck space, which is why I like it so much.
Yeah, for sure. It's also definitely in control mirrors if you're playing blue and they're not.
Yeah.
If you have sideboarded this, then you just outlast them so long. Bring back a Severing Winds at instant speed.
Mm-hmm. Bring back your counter spells. Bring back your removal.
Yeah, brings back a lot of stuff.
Your automatic ability negation.
The Coral Palace. Moving on.
Nope.
Card is just straight up bad.
I still like this card.
Negative Legend. Just because DMO 7th said draws are bad, I'm going to put all my effort into making it good, viable. So, we're going to get to why. I'm just going to spoil this right now. We're going to get to why I think draws are bad. And I said this when I first saw Rayla, is that I needed her life loss to build towards something good.
I'm blanking on what Drowse is.
The Dark Elves.
The Dark Elves. Okay.
I needed their life loss to build to a bomb. Little Red is not a big enough bomb for me to care. To be down to 1,000 life. Little Red is only good, if I'm really, in my opinion, if you're at 1,000 or less life.
She's a stop on the way to your bomb.
And she is not... She is the only card that is really have any kind of bonus for the life loss, in my opinion. We'll get there, but I just don't think that there was enough to be benefited from the life loss. Thunderfish. Target Resonator doesn't recover during its controller's next recovery phase. When it's put into graveyard from the field, draw a card if the weather is right. I think this card is bad.
You think this card is bad? Okay. I think it's good.
When am I playing this?
I am playing this against aggro.
On what turn?
The turn after they attack.
Did you hear yourself?
Yep.
So after aggro has swung at me and dealt damage, I'm going to make it so they can't swing at me again.
Yeah.
Until they then recover and play more things and swing at me.
Yes. Okay, so maybe this card is not as good as I thought. I really want to stun a Blazer, so they can't just attack into me every turn. But
then they just play other things.
Just play other things.
This is bad.
Okay.
This card is bad. It's a common. It's a throwaway common. Fish Fry.
Okay.
We got a Fish Fry with this thing.
You have thoroughly convinced me.
Yeah.
I thought it was better than it was.
The only time I can see myself playing this in turn one is turn one.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go, okay, let me stop your thing so it can't swing at me next turn.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't do that because they haven't swung with me yet. So it's just going to swing at me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they have swung with me, then I'll play this, and they've already done damage. I'll tap down their really weak dude, and then they'll play Sylvia and hit me in the face.
Yep. Okay.
Like
thoroughly convinced, sir.
If this was quick cast, or if it said tap it down, it doesn't recover.
Yes.
I would be all about it.
Yeah,
I honestly would sacrifice that second effect to give this card tap it down. It doesn't recover instead.
So
I would keep
blue planet shenanigans. But.
Yeah, I would keep the second because here's why. Because then I could go, I could flash it in to tap tap something down and that lock something down and then block something else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I just think it's better. And even the second effect is bad because I can only draw it dies on
You
my
have to
turn.
have flipped Shayla or use the rain card, which you're not using the rain card. Don't use the rain card.
So, yeah, I think this card is just bad. Waterfowl.
Draft.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's a
2-drop 5/8.
It's a 5/8 flyer on your turn.
Okay.
So I would draft it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't run it in anything else.
Yeah, I wouldn't do anything else other than that. Weather Change, Magic Rain. It's a reprint. Again, it's blue, another card for blue. That's 1-drop instant speed draw a card.
Yeah.
Which I think is fine. Which blue needs. And now we're green.
Yep.
2 colors left to go.
The really bad card.
This card is so bad. This card is so bad.
But in draft. So
I guess.
Yeah. So it's one of those cards you just throw in your draft deck because it ramps you with stone.
Maybe you need to get to your bomb faster.
Yeah, but you never play this a constructed.
If you're playing this card, you know what you play instead? Magic Stone Analysis.
Yes.
It's better.
Yep.
It's less mana restrictive, less will restrictive, and gets you a basic stone untapped.
Yep. All for the same cost.
So it's way better.
Yeah.
This card is garbage.
But it's a Spirit of Magic, Jeremy. It's strictly better.
It's not though. It's
No,
not.
it's never gonna be good.
Because it still comes into play tapped. Like, the only time I would ever play this card is if I'm going second as Gil, and I somehow find a way to get an elemental into my grave and still have my Energized token without tapping for stone. Which, I can't.
Does Quick Cast make this card better in any way?
Yes.
Okay.
But it can't happen.
But it can't happen
So,
because it doesn't have Quick Cast.
correct.
Unless you have Blue Planet. But don't do it.
You're already too late by then.
Don't build and activate that card.
You're already
Yeah.
You're already at like 7 stones. So you don't. I'm gonna grab one of my 3 basics. Arrow Trap. So this card is nuts.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
This card is bonkers.
1-drop removal.
1-drop 600 damage to target attacking resonator. If it has flying, deal 1200 damage to it anyway. So this is 1-drop Bye Griffin. This is Fox Hate, if I ever did see it.
Yes.
Kills a Griffin for 1. Green.
Griffin and below.
With this card, Mikage only has to spend 4 will to kill any Chimera.
10 or lower, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, to kill anything. Or to kill any other Chimera. No, sorry, no.
Yeah.
This is just another stoning to death option for Mikage.
Yeah.
Because you can just ping it for 6 and then hit it with an arrow. The second darkness arrow. Just kill stuff. This is such a control format. I love it so much.
Yeah.
I know you don't like it, but I love it so much.
It's not as bad as like in previous formats where you just literally sat and said pass and go. I don't think it's that bad. Unless you foresee something different than I do.
We might be close.
Okay.
I think that there are things. I think Fafer makes it so that's not a format that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Fafer's spell and Fafer himself makes that a format where that's not as bad as necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Gale Force is better Fox Hate, but this is freaking great. So here's the reason why I like this card more than Gale Force. Because it is also just a general good card against aggro.
Mm-hmm.
Gale Force is primarily a sideboard card. I would main this.
Yes.
Because if I'm playing green, I'm probably playing control-y or mid-rangey, which means aggro is going to be a problem, especially if I'm playing control.
Mm-hmm.
And this card just says, oh, you have a Sylvia? That's cute, Dad. I need to be able to answer those things.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So I think this is just better than Gale Force.
Mm-hmm.
And there's few flyers that are bigger than a 12/12 that are relevant.
Yeah, there are none, I don't think.
Yeah, if you draft any of this in, just like Endless Night, and Final Battle, or Heteroclite, were cards that if you drafted any, you put them in your deck in sealed. If you draft any arrow drafts, you put them in your deck.
And you should see a couple because they're uncommon.
Yeah, you should see at least a couple in
Yeah.
6 packs. 1 or 2, one, maybe or 2. Can you imagine this card full art? Because I can.
Oh
and,
my gosh.
it's going to look so good. Bullseye Bow, 4-drop chance. Choose one. Destroy target resonator with total cost 4 or less, or destroy target resonator. Choose the second only if you control an elf. Like the elf ruler. This card is too expensive for anywhere outside of draft.
Yeah. I think
And even then
with
it's
cards
fringy.
like this, I feel like they're making them more expensive because they anticipate you're running Sacred Elf.
Yeah.
Or you're trying to generate mana with Vapor's effect in all your tokens.
Or they're just making our hard removal more expensive.
Yeah.
Which
slows the game down.
Which is fine in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it sees fringe play and sealed, and other than that, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
So Commander of the Crown. In draft there is the draft ruler. He is an elf. No, he's not. He's an elemental. Card's garbage. Moving on. Commander of the Crown. 7/7 for 3. When this card enters your field, put 2 1/1 Wind Elf Resonator tokens into the field. When it attacks other elves you control. This card is really good because it's a 3-drop, get 3 things.
Yeah.
I like this in Sealed a lot, too.
Yeah.
Because it gets you 2 blockers.
How many of this do you play in Constructed, though? To me,
Maybe
it
2.
seems underwhelming.
Maybe
but,
1 or 2. Based on the style of elf deck you're going for.
Yeah.
If you're playing... I play this more if I play Green Dragon Elves than if I play Fafer Elves. Because then I just grabbed 2 Sacred Elves.
Yeah, because they just become things that you can just tap for mana.
Right, when you
Yeah,
get a Windstone.
Yeah.
I play this deck because then this is technically a ramp for further,
Yeah.
but you have to imagine that if you're playing Green Dragon Elves, you're probably playing the give everything 10/10 and pierce and recover it. So this becomes, I get 3 bodies, which all become resin which essentially becomes half the cost of your
spell.
of your big spell the next turn. So what's the best elf ruler for Wanderer? Turbo Feasting. Sorry, it's done. Turbo Feasting and Wanderer is insane. Elemental Blast, 1-drop, deals 400 damage to target Resonator. Torrent, it deals 700 damage instead, and it's a Spirit Magic.
It's more removal for draft, so that I think is something you want to look at maybe.
I definitely think, because of the Torrent is safer, and we have the Wind Elemental in... we have the Wind Elemental spell, the 1-drop draw card, in the pool, is a reprint. So I think this is fine because of the Torrent. Yeah.
But it's also a rare. So if you see this...
Holy crap.
Yeah, this is a rare.
That's real weird.
So don't... that in itself to me just says I'm never going to play this card.
Yeah, it's really high rarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're only going to see like one of it, and if I'm seeing arrow traps more often because they're uncommon,
And
you don't want to play
better.
this card.
Elf in the Tree, 3-drop. At the beginning of your main phase, just produce 1. I think this is good and sealed.
Yeah, sealed.
Because it's got a really strong body, so it's hard to kill. And it's ramp, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can play this on turn 3.
Yep.
And then my turn 4, I can play a 5-drop.
Mm-hmm.
Which in sealed can get you to a bomb, which is pretty good.
Yep. A little bit earlier, too.
Yeah. Outside of it, though, we're already ramping with Sacred Elves and stuff like that. So in Constructed, you don't play this card.
It's too slow.
Elvish Hunter, 3-drop, 6/7. Deal 100.
So in Green Dragon Elves, it is a source of removal.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Okay, so draft.
I think it's unplayable in draft.
I think it's unplayable in draft. Okay. I think it's a 1 of in draft at most.
Sorry, let me rephrase that.
Okay.
I think it's unplayable in sealed. I think if you've been drafting elves and you see this, it's playable.
Yeah. Yeah, I think rebuilding an elf deck in draft, you pay like maybe 2
if you find them. But only like pack 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Not pack 1.
Yeah.
This is a card I pass pack 1 pretty quick. Like pick 1, pack 1. This is at the bottom of my list because I have to hope that I see elves.
Yeah.
But if I've been seeing a lot of elves, then I can pack this
right.
for sure.
And she's a common, so you'll see her a lot. I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Fafer! So, energize, he can rest 2 elves he controls to recover a target magic stone. He can only do it once per turn, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I
What
think
to play to kill Wanderer Elves, Flame Trap, Endless Night. etc. Sorry.
Alice's World of Madness.
There you go.
Edition.
Dark Alice.
I think this is. Let's see. What do I think of him on his ruler side? I think he's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. If you're producing a lot of tokens.
Yeah, because then you can like turn your elves into pseudo ramp,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is fine. So.
Yeah.
Because it also says he's resting them, so the elves don't have to have summoning sickness.
Right.
Which is uppity. I still kind of like Green Dragon better.
Yeah.
And then he turns into a 8/10 with a bunch of stuff. So he gets 4 Gale Protectors, gets to grab any elf of cost 4 or less, put it into the field, which is pretty good. It's like Arla with angels, right? And he can remove 1 to give an elf barrier, which is including himself.
Yeah.
Which barrier on J Rulers is surprisingly relevant. And even without Black Moonbeam, it's very relevant.
Yes.
And then remove a Gale Protection, give an elf +2/+2. He can also pump himself up. And he can do those effects as many times as he wants.
Reminds me of a shield a little bit.
A little bit. He also only gets to use his effect 4 times.
Yes.
There's no way to fuel up his
To
counters.
refill, yeah.
Unless he dies and you heal in.
Which balances that to me a little bit.
And the other reason why I like this is he enters with them. It's not a trigger to gain.
Right.
So he can protect himself. He can protect himself right as he's coming in.
Yes.
Which I think is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I still think if I'm playing Elf Swarm, I'm probably still playing Green Dragon.
Yes. It was a great debate for me, like, which is the better elf ruler, and I'd forgotten about Green Dragon. And I was kind of like in my head, is Feasting better right now, or is this card better? Because this has so much more dynamic play to it.
Yeah.
So between the two, I probably would say him, because I don't want to play Torrent as much, in my opinion, because with Severing Wind being everywhere.
Yeah, you got to be really careful with it.
Yeah.
For sure.
And like that's the main focus of that deck, so Severing Wind just is automatically on all the time. And yeah, so I think he's probably better than Feasting right now, but not as good as Green Dragon.
Yeah, I would agree. And L at Argio. Fox is very strong. He's definitely still tier 1.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we've got the full set released, there is so much Fox hate in every color that I think Fox players have to be really careful.
You have to get good at Fox.
You have to be really good at Fox, and you have to read your opponent really well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that still rewards you, right?
Yeah.
But I think that it's enough that people are going to start looking at other rulers other than Fox. I think that the meta right now, if I'm being perfectly honest, is like Green Dragon, Mikage, Fox. Green Dragon, Mikage, Fox, Gil, and like new Gil.
Yeah.
Like newest Gil. And I think some form of Reanimator ruler is there.
Okay.
I don't know who that is, though. I don't know if it's Lumia or someone else, but I think that's there.
I think Lumia's with Umir. I think Lumia is probably up there.
Yeah, it's definitely a deck that if you aren't expecting, you just get like blown out.
Especially with Orphica, we can
it's just an immediate flicker.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what we're talking about. So the 7-drop, recover all resonators you control. They all gain +10/+10 and Pierce. Mm-hmm. This is why Green Dragon I think is so good.
Yeah.
Green Dragon, when he resonances for a Windstone, I think it's one thing you control can gain tap for any color, and then when he flips over Guardian of Wind Magic Stones, I'll look it up.
Yeah, you do that.
So when you tap for a green stone, Guardian of Wind Magic Stones, not my Expedia trip to Vegas. Guardian of Wind Magic Stones.
I'm just gonna pull this up for myself.
Yeah, so he resonances for Wind Magic Stone on his ruler side, and you get target resonator gets to produce any color until end of turn. And then on his flip side, his J ruler side,
Here's the field. Put 2/1/1 Wind Elf Resonator tokens into the
Gets
field.
2 elves immediately.
Resonators you control.
It's just all resonators.
Produce any color.
As he's there.
Yeah.
So when he flips over, all of your resonators can tap for anything.
Mhm.
And he gets you 2 elves when he comes into play. So he naturally gets you 2 elves. And then you can... everything becomes a mana dork. Which I think with a spell like this is insane.
Yeah.
Because then you're flipping and then next turn you're casting.
Yeah, so this is your bomb in green.
Yeah.
Of this set.
Yeah, for sure. Like you're flipping and then next turn you're casting this. So the question is, I think that struggles against Mikage, right? Because you can just ping elf tokens.
Yes. For cheap.
And that's not a spell. That's an ability.
Yeah.
But if your opponent's not playing Mikage, you can just go really wide and punish them.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that this is really good against Fox. Because Fox can't go wide. So if you lay out a bunch of elves and then support it with cancels...
So this is why Green Elf Dragon
I think
probably
is
tier
good.
1.
Is probably high tier 2, if not tier 1. Because you just go wide, and then Fox is like, well, crap. You've got 8 things that all have Pierce, and are all at least 11/11s.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Where's my final battle?
Oh, wait,
why is that quick cast?
Okay, you cast it on your turn? Oh, great. So I think that this card is definitely something to watch out for in Green Dragon. So if you see your opponent flip over Green Dragon, save some cancels. And we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Fate First Escort. This card is okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's
5.
It's very expensive. This artwork is real weird. This artwork looks unfinished.
It looks like the stone art.
A little bit. It's the same artist.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a large creature for sealed, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is pretty low on my list. It's really expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Fate for Spell!
No, it does not cantrip.
Oh my gosh, it doesn't cantrip, which is fine, because if it cantrip, this card would be nuts! So... Fate for Spell. 1 drop, cancel target spell with quick cast.
So what you're saying is, I can cancel their version of this card.
Correct.
And anything else.
And see, the thing is, it says target spell, right?
Yeah.
So any Resonator with quick cast,
Glorious.
any Melfi,
Melfi.
which is relevant,
Yes.
any Severing Winds, cancel Severing Winds,
Vanish.
cancel Vanish, cancel anything.
Millennial Bond.
That's a full cancel, and it's a full cancel. Like, this card is very, very good. I think that Fox mains it,
Mm-hmm.
because it has to.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of instant speed answers to Fox.
Mm-hmm.
I think that other control decks probably sideboard this more.
Mm-hmm. For the cancel war.
For the cancel wars.
Yeah.
This is going to be a sideboard staple for sure.
Yeah.
This card is very good.
So one of the questions is, how does this change the meta? Does it speed it up? Does it slow it down?
I think it is really based on where people decide to put this in their decks, right? Because I think the thing is also, you and I talked about this a little bit, is that it has to have quick cast.
Yeah.
Right? Which means sometimes you're going to want to spend something on your turn that doesn't have quick cast to kill something.
Exactly.
Which puts our field wipes very good. I think, talking right now, Josh and I have talked about this a lot. I think that Eternal Recurrence
gets better.
And all of these wipes, whatever, that are chance speed, have bumped up in strength because of Fafer and because of Fox. And here's why. So if I go Eternal Recurrence, you don't have a cancel spell for it. All you have is like this, right? Or a Severing Winds. And this is my first card of the turn. Which, if I'm playing this, I want it to resolve. So I want as few chances for you to interrupt it as possible. So I'm casting it first. Then, let's say you go, oh, well, in response, I'll sack stuff with Fox. Get a thing. I'm like, okay. Now Eternal Recurrence resolves and your stuff's dead.
Okay.
So because when Eternal Recurrence resolves, you can't do anything to that.
Right.
So Fox either loses their board or you force them to suboptimally activate. and then cost them their creature.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is very good. And I think that with the new stuff we have that slows the game down, I think 5-drop board wipes, when they're that impactful, are definitely more important than people are giving them credit for. The format was way too fast for a card like that to be viable. Mm-hmm. It's not anymore.
So this slows the game down significantly.
I think this slows the game down to the point where chance speed, chance without quick cast are suddenly something that we need to consider again. It can't be.
That's good.
It can't be quick cast or bust anymore.
So it means I have to go back into my Lapis cluster,
And look
800
through
color, and look through stuff. Santiago Rivera says that Priscia will probably main this. What do you think about that?
I think Priscia will not be a thing. I think Priscia will be a thing, and I think Priscia will probably have to main this to deal with things like Arrow Trap and Soul Debt.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that, though, is Priscia is naturally an aggro deck, so it has to play on curve, so it's not always going to have will to play this.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is playing one turn behind so that it can back stuff up, then anytime aggro slows down, control gets happy.
Yeah.
Right? Because the way that aggro beats control is by rushing it to its face. That's the triangle, right?
Yeah.
So, like, control mid-range beats out aggro because it can answer them and then punishes them. Control beats out mid-range because they out-control them.
Yeah.
And then aggro beats control because it's too fast. So if you're playing this card, you're naturally shifting out of the aggro spot and going to a more mid-rangey, which control goes, oh, cool, so we're playing at the same speed and my cards are better than yours.
There we go.
And so I think that maybe a sideboard, but I think that this is risky for Priscia to play with all of the aggro hate that we're getting. So, because think about it this way, like say I don't play this Sylvia, right? Because I don't want it to get soul deaded, because I have Fafer. So next turn I go, okay, I'll play Sylvia, and I've got this to be able to cancel.
Right.
And then they'll go, okay, cool. Well, I also have 3 will, so I will arrow trap you.
Yeah.
And then you will try to cancel it, and then I will cancel you back. Right?
With the same spell?
With the same spell.
Yeah.
Or better.
Yeah.
And so, or you open yourself up to Severing Winds.
Yeah.
Which is also what control is going to be playing.
Which means because you're control, you're playing more cancel spells in general. So you're like, if you out-cancel them, you're in a good position. Yeah. Good.
Gentle Breeze, it's the reprint of the Elemental.
Yep.
Great Tornado. Rest up to 6 Resonators you control. Destroyed 2 target net. This is garbage.
Yeah,
Sorry, I don't even want to talk about it. That card's real bad. Leaf Archer. I wanted him to be able to do more damage here.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason, in my mind, because he... because of the fact that he has to tap, I might as well just block the flying thing.
Yeah.
And deal 6 damage. I talked about this in my spoiler. I might as well just tap to block the flyer and ping it for 600 rather than tap this guy anyway and pay to ping that flyer for 600. Like, this second effect is irrelevant unless I'm doing it in recovery, which even then is real weird. Leaf Fighter, 4-drop or 1-drop 4/4 vanilla. Not really to talk about there. Leaf Guard, 2-drop 4/8 vanilla. Also really not too much to talk. I think this guy's okay in draft. It's got a good stat line. You're looking up Favor.
I'm looking up the Great Tornado card because someone was asking why it was a secret rare, and I was wondering if it was an entity or if it was a resonate.
It's 2 non-Magic Stone entities.
So it has some utility.
It can destroy resources too, but it's still it's so expensive.
Yeah.
And it's not instant speed. Leaf Healer! Everybody's favorite meme.
Best art.
Everybody's favorite meme. This card is really bad. This card is really bad. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Because he's super expensive.
He's a good blocker, but he's fine.
I can play him in draft.
Yeah.
Or in sealed.
Best card.
I can see him in sealed potentially, but I can't see him outside of that. Even then.
I think this card alone beats Fox.
You're a liar. Leaf Knight. I think this is the kind of utility that that Elementals needed to be able to play an Elemental deck. Because it can pump himself up, and it can give itself barrier.
Yeah.
So, like, manipulate stuff.
You just recycle your Elemental, which is something you're going to see in the deck list coming up.
For sure. So I think I like him a lot. Messenger of the Ring. Is that of the Ring? Of the King. 2-drop 6/6. Up to 2 target else gain +2/+2. This is fine.
Yeah.
He's okay.
Scratch deals with 2 target else gain +2. Okay.
Yeah.
Draft.
Okay.
Draft for elves, but that's
Even then, it's kind of weird. They have to be on the field.
Yeah.
Portal in the Woods, 2-drop. When spread into the field, it just turns into. I actually really like this. So it turns into, if you're, especially in draft, because it's a 2-drop gets you a 1/1 elf token, and then if they don't answer it, it's a 1/1 elf token every turn.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty cool. I don't think it's like amazing, but I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Spirit Collar Elf 1/1 gets. Yeah, I think this card's really good.
This card is basically just
for green
you a
dragon.
creature. Yeah.
For green dragon,
it's so good for that.
Just like gets you as 2 creatures immediately. Spiritual. This card is
draft.
I don't even like it in draft because I don't want to deck them that much.
Yeah.
For that expensive.
Yeah, you really don't.
I don't like this card.
Well, it's minimum 20, which is the only number you really want to be at. But yeah,
I don't like.
I want this card to be better, but it's not.
Yeah, I agree.
It's life gain, which is random.
Yeah, but iffy.
This card's alright. This is what you bring up with Fearer.
Yeah, you bring this out with Fearer because then you get to grab the White Falcon. When it enters the field, you also get when damage is dealt to this card, just target Resonator. When damage is dealt to this card, destroy it until end of turn. And then you can deal 1,000 damage to. This is a really good card this is an absolute bomb in draft.
Yeah.
In sealed.
Absolutely.
Because this says you have to kill this or in 4 turns I kill you.
Yep.
Because it can ping players for damage too. And this also is a really good tempo swing too, because then you can go, oh look, your bomb that you might want to block, your 1 creature that you might want to block my little tiny dude with. And if you do, it dies.
Yep.
So then
there you go.
You can get swings in there, which I think is good. I also think it's good and constructed.
Yeah. How relevant is the burn effect? The 5 burn effect.
If you're playing control, maybe, but we have Vitality Drain, which I think is better.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's also not quick cast. It's also like not a spell, so it's uncancelable, which is cute.
So there's that.
The White Falcon. Ta-da!
I
drop
love this
2/3. It gains swiftness. When it attacks, it deals 200 damage to target player or Resonator, which is really good.
I think outside of that combo with her, it's a decent aggro option.
Yeah.
So if you're running like a Priscia deck with this, it has flying, which is
naturally
nice.
Already.
Yeah. So you can just give it swiftness with Priscia and then just swing it for 400.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn good.
I like that. Trap Magic. If this had flying, I'd be okay with it. But quick cast resonators are pretty good. So, what do you think?
I'm still reading it.
Sure.
Resonators will controls attack a total of 3 times.
He's really expensive, but he's free.
Yeah, he's severing winds basically.
I mean,
get the same effect.
I play this in sealed.
Yeah, I definitely play. Yeah,
creatures stick around for way longer.
Yeah.
And when it enters, you ping something for 800 damage.
Yeah.
So you go, oh, you swung with that and I haven't killed it. Oh, you swung with that on the 3rd swing, flicker it in, ping one of your other dudes, block the guy who's swinging right now.
Yep. And then the Falcon, if it's there, it can deal an extra 200 damage if need be.
I like this card a lot. Because it's your opponent controls attacks.
Yeah.
So on the 3rd swing.
Yeah, so never mind about the Falcon, but there's 800 is a pretty decent amount of damage to do it or a Resonator.
And it's a free body.
Yeah.
This card is very good in draft and sealed, I think. Because the other thing is, if he wasn't quick cast, if he was like only quick cast if this happened, then I'd say he's probably pretty bad. But since he's quick cast in general, he can still just sit in your hand and be a quick cast creature, which is still really good.
And it's a rare?
Yes, it is a base rare.
Yeah, so you may see it.
Tree Root Sprite is a reprint. Not really much to say there.
Yeah.
Probably consistency that it needs. Windblade is okay.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's not as good as Arrow Trap.
Agreed.
When I first saw this, I was like, this is pretty decent for wind.
And then Arrow Trap came out.
And then Arrow Trap, and I was like, yeah.
Way better. I still think it's fine.
Yeah.
It's essentially a pseudo Arrow Trap for elementals.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
It fuels the engine.
Mm-hmm. It's removal, which you can always have to answer a little bit of removal in draft.
Mm-hmm.
Wind Ferryman, Guinevere for mini Percival for elementals, which I think is cool for the consistency factor.
Absolutely.
But other than that, not really much.
Mm-hmm.
Winds of Vitality, good old rapid growth reprints. I think this is actually pretty good for Seal.
Yeah.
Just being able to suddenly steal 600 damage is nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Moving on, we have Black. We're already in the Black cards.
All right.
Are we really already in these cards? I feel like
It's been like 2 hours.
It's been a while. Okay, so Aribon is a reprint. Gets us mystery counters. Don't really have much to say there.
Yeah.
Black Blood Knight, Lifelink. This guy's going to be a bomb in draft.
Yeah, he's gonna be
Anything that
draft.
you can do to steal life
This
back
is the stuff
really
you
good.
want to kill with your green dude.
Yeah,
+4.
for sure.
Yeah.
Then we've got
This
Blood
card's
Spray.
amazing.
This card is fantastic.
Love this card.
For Rhea.
Such interesting art too. It's just very like, last color boys.
We're getting there. Thank you guys so much for sticking around with us. It's been a really long evening. This has been fun though.
Glad you guys are having fun.
This card is just good because the thing is it only takes one mystery counter.
Yeah.
She starts with.
Do you play it in draft
I
because
don't
you're
think
at
so.
20? Because you're drawing 2 cards, maybe 1.
Probably because it also removes something.
Yeah.
So if I have enough darkness support to play the darkness draft ruler, I'd probably play this.
It's another source of removal, so that's good.
Yeah. And it's drawing you cards. Hello.
Oh, Dark Elves.
This card is real bad.
Don't.
I don't like this card at all. It could potentially get out of hand, but the problem is this is a trigger, and if it gets really out of hand, I can answer it. But there are better 4-drops.
Yeah, do you even play this in draft?
If I need a creature at that cost, then yeah, for sure.
Something else you kill with that green guy.
Yeah. Sorcerer, 3-drop, 7/7. When a ruler or resonator you control deals damage to you, it deals damage to your opponent. So, I mean, I guess that's something, but it's still really, like, I'm still hurting myself.
Yeah. For what purpose?
Yeah, again, I don't have enough to, like,
this is
the damage pings are not enough.
It's basically Volga, but worse.
Correct. And the damage pings aren't enough, I think.
But this is okay.
At the end of your turn, this card deals 100 damage to each player.
I mean, it's a 1-drop 4/4 in draft.
It's good in draft.
Yeah.
Because, again, that kind of body in draft is fine. But there's a 1-drop 4/4 vanilla in green that doesn't have that effect.
That's also true.
Dark Knight Butterfly. This card is really good in draft.
Absolutely.
It's just like,
And it's
sweet.
common.
Yeah, so
You're
like,
seeing a lot of them.
so you can make your opponent just be out of resources. And would remove 2 mystery counters to make them discard 2 cards, or just pay 1 and make them remove a card. I think this card is very, very good.
Yeah, yes, Cloud Fate, that is exactly right. Like, that's the only card that makes Dark Elves even sort of relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark Revolution. Reanimator gets a thing. This is essentially Dance of Shadows, but not quick cast and without Remnant. So I think if Dance of Shadows is good, then this card is good. It's just a little bit more balanced, I think.
It's a rare, so you might see one of it, and if you do end up playing black, it might be something.
And it also, the creature sticks
on
the field and doesn't get, like, killed.
It doesn't hard reanimation.
Yeah, our chat went weird again. Pop out chat, and we are back. And then Dark Riding Hood. So I really like this card, except in Dark Elves. Like her effect, her life gain effect, her low life effect is not enough for me to be wanting to hurt myself to get to it.
Yes.
I play this in Wanderer. I play this in Stealth Wanderer in a heartbeat.
So explain that a little bit more.
Kaguya 1 Stealth. where I can set my rises and melders super cheap.
Gotcha.
So I can go like rise.
Oh, then you control your life and you bring it out.
So then I go rise, melder, kill some stuff, go to my turn, recover, play this. It has swiftness. It gets to start pinging stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And then because every time it pings something with its own effect, if I have 1,000 or left, whenever this card attacks, so if I have 2,000 life, which is when my melders are active, then every time she swings, I get to kill a resonator. Because I can ping something for 200 then kill it. So, excuse me. She potentially has a lot of really good effects. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But the Dark Elf, there's not enough other life loss cards that I'm interested in that make me interested in her.
Yeah. It makes me wonder if she's even going to be seen at all. Just because like she's clearly going to be more in darkness because of her cost. The best rulers for that are Rhea and Mikage. And Mikage already has his own effect.
And he gets the life gain.
Yeah. And he has his own life gain, so
I think this is more of a wanderer card, honestly. I could play her in draft as sealed if my pool is heavy black.
Yeah.
Because she's technically a bomb, so as the game goes on longer, the more powerful she is. But other than that, not so much. Demonic Rabbit, 3-drop 9/9 that hurts you. Pass.
Flash name.
Sorry, 3-drop 9/9.
No, you're good.
It's only good in draft, and even then it's mediocre.
Because that is bad.
Yeah. Feast Mortals, 4-drop chance, banish a resonator, deals damage equal to the banished resonator's attacks your opponent, and then you gain life equal to the banished resonator's defense. This card is bad only because Vitality Drain exists.
Yeah,
and it doesn't impact.
Life.
And I guess in sealed, I could play this as a one of bomb to finish the game off.
Yes.
I swing in.
Because you didn't see Vitality Drain in your packs.
Yeah. I swing in. I sack a dude. I sack my bomb off after it gets its one swing in to double the damage my bomb does to you, and I gain life.
Yeah.
So I seal the game. So and it also doesn't have quick cast. And it also doesn't have quick cast, which again, fairer spell. This fairer spell can't cancel this.
Yes. Absolutely.
And the only cancel spell we have here's the important thing. The only cancel spell we have in draft is fairer spell.
Yeah. So this sticks.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's no reason why.
I think that's the other thing they had.
Yeah.
Vanish did not get a reprint. So if you're playing sealed or draft, the only cancel spell that exists is fairer spell.
So this always happens.
So this will resolve.
Yeah. You could banish the big goal after cheating in with the addition.
Whoa! please don't. Hey man. Hold on. We're at 4, right? So we go the blue spell.
Yeah.
Bring it back on my turn. Kill a thing. Draw. Mobilize it with Pandora. Swing. Sack it. Kill you.
So now you need the statue to fix
your mana. Dude. It's Obelisk the Tormentor Ring of Destruction combo. We gotta build it.
Yep. Okay. Meme.deck.
Congratulations, we found our Golem deck. We're gonna play Obelisk the Tormentor Ring of Destruction. I'm gonna call it Put a Ring on It.
Put a ring on it. Oh no.
Golem Dark Elves, let's go. Making it. Freyla. I like that she can recur stuff.
Yeah.
Which is really good. I just don't like I don't like anything that Dark Elves would push us towards.
Yeah. I think we need to see more support for her to be...
I need to see better things for Dark Elves to lose life for. Yeah. There's not enough things that I'm like, oh man, my life's low, I can play this bomb now.
Yeah, there's no payoff for losing life.
Little Red's the closest thing we have, and even that's meh. So Freyla lets you, I guess, ping stuff and burn your opponent's death. I guess.
So play red with this card. This is what this side says to me. Play red with this card and you get good effects.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that she can just, like, Dark Elf Tribal is definitely a thing that people will try. I don't like it, but I'll build it for the channel. But other than that, I'm not a huge fan. Gate to the Outer World. When this card enters your field, your opponent chooses to remove a resonator they control from the game. And then pay 1 and tap X, put a resonator with total cost X from a removed area that was removed by this card into the field. This card is garbage.
Yeah, it's not that good.
Unplayable.
Because they're going to choose their lowest cost resonator
and then
with the worst stats, and then you're going to bring it back for
It's
Minus
cost.
1.
Yeah, its cost is no. This is
Yeah, you can put
This
better
is
things on
awful.
turn 4.
Hilda and Freyla are the consistency for Dark Elves. They kind of get buffed a little bit. They make Tribal even playable remotely. But other than that, I'm not huge. Lethal Arrow, Kage, done. Stoning to death. This card is stoning to death.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
Stoning to death. Is stoning to death good? No. Is stoning to death good?
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's good answer.
Okay.
This card is good.
So hit me again. Please.
Moon in the Mist. By the way, if you pack any of this,
You should be, too, because it's common.
if you pack this, you play this.
Yes.
Um,
It's very good.
Moon in the Mist. Destroy target resonator. Put a mystery counter on your J ruler. I like this. It's expensive,
Yeah.
but if you're playing, if you're
You can also
drafting
cancel
black, but you can cancel it.
Yeah.
But I think that
You get a cookie.
you get a cookie one, except that you're not going to be a pre-release, and I'm going to be sad. Moon in the Well, you can come hang out a little bit before you work, right?
Maybe.
You got it at 2? We'll be there at noon.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I'll figure it out.
we'll see.
If I have it there, I'll be there.
So Moon in the Mist, I like the fact that it's a way to recur mystery counters. Because her mystery counters, every single individual mystery counter holds a lot of impact.
Yes.
It is 4 will, which is very expensive, but in Sealed, if you're playing the Rhea ruler, the Rhea draft ruler, I think this is very good.
Yeah.
It is very expensive.
I think it's a way
but-
of getting rid of their bomb on curve.
Correct.
Yeah.
While also getting you something to use
Yeah,
later.
and it's good for that reason.
Moonlight Shadow, this is a 1-drop 4/4 vanilla, so how about that 1-drop 4/4
Yeah,
that pinged you
do.
for 100 life? Just play this instead, which is also a common.
But
The other half of Freyla and Safina, which is
Yep.
fine. Consistency elements. Shade Assassin. I like this card as long as you control the Dark Elf because the ruler is a Dark Elf, so that's pretty good. This is essentially removal. Because it has Death Touch. So you can
I think I thought the last card was this card, and I like this card more than the other one.
yes.
The one that deals damage to everything. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Stealth Demon, 5-drop, 8/6 with flying. Deals 600 damage to your opponent. Wait a minute.
This looks familiar, but better.
This is the other demon. This is
Yeah.
the effect of that demon that I wanted.
This is better.
Correct.
Yeah. So then what else do I need to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just what I wanted that other demon to be. Sword of the New Moon.
It's good.
Gotta love removal. It's pretty good.
So good.
Glad that got a reprint. Tactics of the Dark Elves. This is okay. I actually like this in Sealed.
When this card deals damage,
So the 2 things can't be destroyed, and they get Death Touch.
Yeah.
So you just go. So it's a way to push through damage. And again, it can't be canceled.
Yeah, it's okay, and it's uncommon, so you might see it. And it's if you're playing black, I think it's good.
Yeah, for sure. Outside of that, though. Outside of Sealed, this is pretty bad.
Outside of that, I think you only play it in Dark Elves.
Probably, and even then
Yeah.
it's mediocre. 3 Evil Pigs!
Nope.
Lumia Flicker's new silliness. Other than that, it's very bad. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Transforming Vampire, 2-drop 5/4, and it's also a smaller lifelink, which I think is cool for vampires.
It's okay.
Treasonous Guard, 2-drop 6/6 Dark Elf. It deals 200 damage. There's other better 2-drop 6/6s
Yeah.
that don't hurt me when I play them. Truth Amongst Darkness, I like this card. In Constructed.
In Constructed.
It is too expensive, in my opinion, in Sealed.
Yeah, because it doesn't have any impact.
Other than looking at their hand. In Constructed, though, I like this.
Okay, so explain why.
Because now I have 2 1-drop discard spells.
Mhm.
I've got a discard spell that I can discard 2 cards from their hand by removing mystery counters, which is probably a turn 2 card.
Yeah.
And I have this, which is a turn 3, turn 4 card.
Right.
So we lost Lapis Darkstorm.
Yeah. So this is sort of a
this is
replacement.
like it helps to fuel what discard lost.
But I will say I think Butterfly is more of a Lapis Darkstorm.
I agree. I agree that is the case. But the fact that this has Remnant makes me like it in addition to Butterfly.
Yeah, okay. Just like Butterfly more.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Yeah.
But I also like it. Vicious Wounded Beast. 5-drop 10/10. Put 2 mystery counters on your J ruler.
I would draft it.
Yes, because it's a bomb for draft.
Yeah. It's also a T-Rex. So it's not a beast? Okay.
Vitality Drain.
Good card.
Probably, in my opinion, the best card of the set.
Okay.
Or very high up there. Because this is Vlad's effect at instant speed that can also be a removal spell. For one mystery counter.
Yeah. If you're playing Rhea.
No, if you're playing black,
okay.
Just play a couple of her stones.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so yeah, if you do that.
Yeah, like
if you do that.
Like everyone knows that people who played in the era of Vlad know that Vlad was very good.
Yes.
Because Vlad would just go, I'm gonna spend 5, trade you for a grand, I'll gain a grand. This is literally Vlad. And I can play 4 up. I can kill you with just this.
Yeah.
And it's instant speed. And it's a 2,000 point life swing for 5 in instant speed. Like, people were talking about before about the Fiend Flame being a replacement for Schrodinger's. This is a replacement for Schrodinger's.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, for sure.
Vitality Drain is very on job here.
Vitality Drain is very on job. If you get this card ever in any format, you play it.
This is a win con in itself.
Yeah. Wolf's Rain, I think, is interesting in Sealed.
Yeah, I think it's also good in Draft.
Yeah, any limited format.
Any limited, yeah. So we'll just say limited. This card is just. I think it's good. I think it's 9 damage.
Yeah, for 3.
Yeah,
which is fantastic.
Solid, easy, quick damage.
Yeah. Now, okay, so the idols. These were cards I was not expecting to have exist.
Yes.
I like these. So they all replace themselves in some way, which is important to note. Idol of Magic, so you can pay 1 and banish it to produce any color, and then draw a card, which I think is cute.
Yeah.
I think it gets outclassed by a later idol, which is, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Idol of Vitality, 1 drop, banish this card for 1, target J-Res gains +2/+2 as the end of card, and draw a card. This is okay.
You fill your draft list with this.
To finish the games.
To finish games,
yeah. Idol of Willpower, 1 drop, banish this card to gain 500 life, draw a card. My least favorite.
So far we're going downhill.
This is okay. So Statue of the Sacred Temple, so 2 drop. Magic Stones you control. This is my favorite. Magic Stones you control gain produce any color.
Yep.
Which is dope. And then if you spend 5, you can get
all the colors.
One of each of the colors.
Yeah.
You can banish it to become a Light Angel. So if you're playing Draft or Sealed, 100%, you pack any of these, you play it.
Absolutely.
100%. Because it goes, I benefits. Like,
and
it's very, very good for Sealed play. Because then you just get to...
Yep.
And think about it, you're going to see half your draft deck
in
your opening hand.
Yes.
So the likelihood, you have a 50% chance to see this. And if you can drop this on turn 2, like, that's very good.
Yeah. And if
you pack a ruler and not have to use a sealed play ruler, or no, just in general, in sealed play, when you can use any ruler outside of a draft ruler, when you have access to energize, you can drop this turn 1 and then just set up your mana for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's very true.
Which is very good, especially as we talked about before, not a very aggressive sealed format.
Yes. What's also nice about this is also its own win con. Like, it has...
it can become and it's also a bomb. It's also a bomb later.
Yeah. And you can do it at instant speed on your opponent's end phase, so you just get this.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm not really going to talk about the stones.
Brayless stone.
I don't really need to talk about any of the stones. I don't think they really matter. Then we have the variants, which I don't know how these are going to come in the packs. I imagine these are going to come in... So the common theory is that the variants come in the pack with the draft rulers, so then if you pick that draft ruler, you get that variant to start your pool with. Which would be cool, but I don't think... we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
So
you talk about this. I'm going to use the restroom.
Yeah, sure. I don't really have much to say about these bad boys. Their effects and stat lines are a little bit different, so you guys can go ahead. His stat line's a little bit different, still has flying. Stat line's a little bit different, and it makes things unblockable. It makes himself unblockable, in a sense. Barely changed the stats of the giant squid. This person makes it so that... This is actually pretty good. I actually like the variant version of this guy better, because he just becomes undestroyable. Like, he can make himself undestroyable, so he just becomes a free blocker that won't die. And then this guy just gained first strike and less defense. So, like, this is irrelevant, in my opinion. That's the most relevant. And then we got our basic stones, so basic darkness magic stone, fire magic stone, light magic stone, water magic stone, wind magic stone. And then we have the draft rulers. So I'm going to, this will be the last thing we talk about for tonight, and I'm going to let Paul come back before we talk about that. So while I'm waiting, again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight, and for tweeting out and all that kind of stuff. We didn't get any tweets tonight, but you're all involved in the chat, so that kind of makes sense. If this is something that you guys are interested in us doing again in the future, feel free to suggest topics so we can talk about them. Let me check Twitter one last time. Seeing if anybody tweeted at us. Nope. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the draft rulers.
Sure.
So these are weaker versions of the 5 structure deck rulers.
Yes.
And they come in a pack outside of the set. So you're always going to see these.
Mm-hmm.
There's really not too much to say about them. We're just going to go over their effects real quick and any kind of ideas. So judgment for one. So they judgment for 1 more than the regular starter deck rulers do. And they don't have energize. She still gets the beginning of the game, gain a gem. But she gets 2 limited counters when she comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
And she can spend a limited counter and 1 will, and they all can do this. So they can spend 1 limited counter and one will to produce 1 will of any attribute. So in exchange for energize, you get filtering, which I think is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because Magic Furnace is not something we can use anymore, and Magic
Right.
Furnace let you guarantee your first stone. So this, in a sense, always makes it so that your first turn, you're always going to have a way to play a 1-drop, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
She flips over. She does essentially what... She just doesn't have the sealed items and stuff. She's a 10/10, and she gains 2 more any gems of any 1 attribute.
Mm-hmm.
So she's just generic Panda support for her gems when she needs it, and she's a 10/10 body. Martial artist. Do you have any comments on her? Or?
No, I mean, pretty much the only thing that really made Tigris good is his pump ability with the gems, and they're basically just going to give you the effects of these rulers that are kind of just their gimmicks, so to speak. So you're going to see like this, the martial artist is just going to have the strength counters, Rhea's counterpart is just going to have the mystery counters, etc. The blue ruler will make it rain. Make it rain!
Oh, I guess I messed up. My Twitter handle is @DragonMaster073. I thought I changed that. I apologize.
So if you have any questions, send them into that.
Yeah, so I'll change that for next time. I apologize. So @DragonMaster073 for future reference. I'll try to get that changed. So her change here is that she can't recur strength counters.
Yes.
That's what makes her weaker on this side.
Mm-hmm.
And on this side, she can't burn stuff with strength counters. She just gains 15.
She just goes up to 15.
So, again, that's kind of the bonus there. 10/10 for the stats. She just makes it rain on your turn. And then on her other side, she makes it so the weather is permanently rain. And she's a 10/10. So she doesn't do anything. She's actually not really that much different from Sheila.
Pretty much.
Like,
she doesn't cantrip when she comes into the field.
Yeah. Other than that, Leaf Elder is an elemental who has Gill's effect.
A tree.
Yeah, he's a tree. Woo! And he's a 10/10, and he still does the same thing. So
Are elementals wild veggies?
that's an excellent question. Same thing. He gets 1 mystery counter at the beginning, and instead of he doesn't have flying, and he can't remove his mystery counters to kill stuff. I don't think she outdoes Shayla.
No,
she just is. She has the least difference between, in my opinion.
Yeah.
She has the least difference between her draft self and Shayla.
When you J activate and do judgment for Shayla and she flips, all you do is draw a card.
That's it.
In addition to making it rain all the time, so that's really it.
So and then Bloodsucking Butler doesn't have any way to spend the mystery counters on himself.
Right.
So yeah, and that is the end of the set.
Yeah.
Whoa, we made it. That was a long time.
Wow.
But that was awesome.
So good news, we have larger sets.
Yeah, 150 cards. I for one am really excited about the direction they're going with this set.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think the one thing, I know you have a couple questions, but I know it is also getting late. So one thing that I will want to note for people is, and it starts today, the rules have changed. So now you reveal your rulers before you draw your hands in Mulligan. Okay?
Yep.
Which gives control a massive advantage, or controller-ish decks a massive advantage, or a big advantage anyway. And I think also helps to eliminate a couple of problems in the tournament scene, namely scouting. And I think that it also is really nice to... I think it benefits newer players. I think it slightly benefits newer players. I think it also benefits pro players because now we don't have to second guess. So we can have our decks built and know our matchups really well from testing, see the ruler, and know which direction we need to mulligan. This is where I need to go.
Yeah.
But it also is nice because it also means that we don't have to mulligan for the common ruler, right? So you don't have to go like, oh, I just, like in the Prisia format, like regardless of what I'm playing against, I have to mull as if I'm playing against Prisia.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that anymore, which I think is cool. And I'd also think that it makes it nicer. I think pro players who scout benefit the least from this because we were already finding out information anyway.
Yeah.
As Alex Blandon likes to say, if I didn't know what everyone was playing by the start of round 2, then I wasn't doing my job. Or something of the sort. Like he always, the joke around the world's chat is that Alex already knows what everyone's playing at the end of round 1. So I think he benefits the least, but I think everyone benefits from this in some way. So that's pretty cool, I think. Yeah, you have some questions though.
Yeah, so I want to answer your guys' questions first because I added them into the list. But the one that really got put out there is, what is the strongest structured deck? And I would say also structure deck ruler, because you could have different answers for that after the release of this set.
Okay, so if we're talking about like pick up and play,
yeah. So of the 5 structure deck rulers, which is the strongest coming out of this set?
Raya.
Okay.
And the reason why is I think that there is enough stuff in the structure deck for Raya that has a pretty big impact on the game state, like a hard impact on the game state, without having to spend a ton of resources. If that makes sense.
I think so. So you
like
mean like
Keurig,
the vanishing spell?
The vanishing spell and stuff like that. Like Keurig has to do a lot of work to be like tapping and untapping and tapping and untapping and tapping and untapping. So it has to split its focus. Whereas Raya just gets to go, yeah, okay, I'm going to just make this spell better.
Yeah, you just remove the counter.
Yeah. So, like, and by playing bodies, she's naturally reloading herself while applying pressure. Keurig has to digress himself in order to recover his resources.
Right.
So, like, you don't have to play Tap Pig in Raya, but you can play Ahriman, who is a body, and then when they killed him, I get a resource that I can then use. You know what I mean?
There you go.
And also Raya gets to reuse a kill spell. So
Yeah.
she technically, in her structure deck, has 8 kill spells that are instant speed.
So, like...
Or no, sorry, that's technically 12 kill spells that are instant speed.
that in itself is just, like, insane. Like, a control deck with that many, like, built-in kill spells.
Just in the structure deck.
Just in the structure deck.
I think Raya is the strongest by herself.
So, we're looking at Raya, maybe like a tie between Keurig and Gil, or is Keurig strictly better than Gil at this point?
If I'm saying structure for structure, like I'm not tweaking them at all,
right?
Then I think that Keurig is probably better than Gil.
Okay.
If I'm tweaking them, I think that Gil becomes better than Keurig.
Okay.
Out of the 5 structure deck rulers, competitively, I think Gil is the best right now. Which is, I have to admit, I did not expect, because when I first saw Gil, I was not impressed with him. But his barrier is enough. His barrier has proven to be more impactful than I think. Sorry.
Took my game.
I know, to make it so that you...
break the case.
Oh, I didn't know she broke it. I'm sorry.
I think I came in here flopping things
So
around.
yeah, so that's my answer for that question.
Okay.
Look at the pieces.
So
They used to be right there.
I'm sorry.
Broken.
I'm sorry. I'm to blame. Take 5 damage.
take 5 damage. Remove a mystery counter.
Remove his The mystery is solved. I'm an idiot. There
So
we go.
how much time do you think we have left here?
Yeah, a little bit of time.
A little bit of time. Okay. So let's see. Of all the questions that I was thinking of when I was going through this, so I think we already answered that golems are not a sustainable strategy. But what colors work best for them going forward, and what is exactly their goal?
Say that again for me.
So golems.
Are golems a sustainable strategy? The answer to that question right now is no.
No.
I need to see more benefit for them pushing the game longer. Because right now they feel very mid-rangey or control-y, but the problem is they are outclassed by every other mid-range control deck that I can think of right now. So, like, if I want to see, you're talking about sustainable, like what makes them sustainable.
Yeah.
I need to see more, similarly to I need to see Dark Elves, right? I need to see more payoff for following the strat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I need to see more payoff for playing these golems that I can mobilize to form up a wall.
Yeah.
I need to see more benefit for a ruler that mobilizes everything and then sucks up all the damage. I need to see more benefit for me sacrificing my golems to play a bigger golem. Like, I need to see how I profit from that in a way that the control mid-range rulers we already have are not already profiting from. In the same way that I need to see from Dark Elves, I need to see where the profit is for me hurting myself.
Yeah.
Right now, if stealth was still around, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Because it gives me ways to get to Melder without having to use Riza all the time.
Yeah.
Right? But it doesn't exist yet. So I'm not incentivized for playing that strat
Right.
when there's no payoff, or I can play an established strat that has a pretty solid payoff.
There you go.
That's my thoughts.
Difference between supported strategies and unsupported strategies.
Correct. 100%.
So we if you have any questions, feel free to tweet us.
Yeah, tweet
at DragonMaster
073. Not the DM 073 that's on the screen.
Spell it out.
And it is a 0, not an O.
Yeah.
Someone asked, what do I mean with Omega Zero? David Curris asked the question. I love what you did with the full set review, but I have just one question. What do I mean by the resonator being a bomb? So a conversation is that's a term in card games to signify a card that has a great amount of impact. So like when it comes in, it does something really, really impressive. Or when it comes in, it's the way I'm going to kill you.
Your win con.
Yeah, it's another name for the win con. But like you think of it more in, so like when you're talking constructed, you usually say like win con, right? Because that's what your deck builds to, as opposed to see it limited pool, you call them more like bombs, because you're not really necessarily building your decks towards that, but like when you drop it, it's just like
this is like a general characteristic of stuff that you're looking for. So like removal is pretty much anything in your draft that is going to get rid of your opponent's stuff.
Right.
And a bomb is pretty much anything that's going to like end your opponent's game in general.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I mean by that. Good question.
What Lapis cluster rulers benefit the most from the support in Ancient Knights?
Mikage? I think we already talked a little bit about this.
Yeah, so Mikage.
So Wind Dragon, he's technically. Wind Dragon. I honestly think Zero probably got some support.
So say more about that.
So because of the make something a 0/1, right? Which means that she has more easy removal, like death and taxes. Like being able to make something a 0/1 is pretty relevant because it's a creature heavy deck. So they got more like stuff to be able to like kill stuff with, as in addition to Zero's Magic Light. I think Lumia Reanimator got some buff, obviously, or comes back. Mikage definitely, Green Dragon definitely. I don't think Feasting comes back yet, because I just played Green Dragon.
So Priscia's there.
Yeah, I think Priscia is still there, I don't think that she necessarily benefited very much from Ancient Knights.
Mhm.
I think Fox benefited more from the structure decks than it did Ancient Knights, outside of Farrer's Spell. But I'm not sure if Farrer's Spell is enough for me to consider that like Fox actually got a buff. Because in addition to them giving him something to quick cast, right, to cancel stuff, they also introduced everyone else to a ton of Fox answers.
Yeah.
Right, so now Fox has a lot more threats and has to be very much more mindful about his cancel spells. Whereas before it was like, well, there's not really much that can kill this Griffin, so if I hold up one cancel spell, I'm usually fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or there's nothing that I can't just sacrifice in response to.
Mm.
There's so much Fox hate, I think, now that Fox has to be more careful. Fox is so strong, but I don't necessarily know if Fox got a terribly big buff.
Okay. Reiken V has a question. So do you think Farrer will mostly bring out a lot of elf tokens? If so, I think Tornado would potentially work. So the question is Farrer bringing out a lot of elf tokens? How does Farrer work, in other words? And is Great Tornado better as a result of that?
I think that Farrer is oddly enough not elf spam. If that makes sense. I feel like Farrer is more elf control.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to go spammy with elves, I'm probably playing Wind Dragon.
Yeah.
Just because that ramps me into the elf spam like finisher faster. I don't think Great Tornado sees play hardly at all. Because if I'm playing a card that's that expensive, then I might as well just like play the thing that recovers all my dudes and makes them 11/11s plus and tap Pierce. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
if I'm already committing to that big of a spell, I might as well just play something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think Charlotte will have some good percent? I don't think so. I am saddened by the fact that Charlotte is now weaker. I think.
So what makes Charlotte weaker now? Is it
Regalia
loss? Okay.
The thing why Charlotte was so fantastic for that control idea is because she could play a control where she herself was the kill card,
right?
And which became possible with Regalia. So you were rewarded multiple times for playing Regalia with Charlotte, where you played all these zero-cost creatures, flipped for super cheap, then refilled your hand, and suddenly had a beast that they can't attack. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you just like draw a ton and gain life, and you have a beat stick.
Mm-hmm.
Without Regalia, without those zero-cost cards, Charlotte is like harder to do. I see Charlotte more as a sideboard ruler.
Okay.
Honestly, I think that in this format, without as much draw power, if you're playing against a discard deck, and then you go, oh wait, I have Charlotte in my sideboard.
There you go.
Then you just sideboard into Charlotte and refill your hand. I think that sideboard rulers are going to be as tricksy plays, like as transformative siding. I think sideboard rulers are worse, but as utility siding, I think sideboard rulers are better. Primarily due to the ruler change. So I don't think transformative sideboarding is nearly as effective when my opponent gets to see that I've changed rulers before they mulligan.
Mm-hmm.
But if I have a ruler that shores up a matchup, then I'll do it.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So
Charlotte's there potentially. Maybe not as a main board ruler, but a side. Jersey it is. Is Prissy a matchup favorable to Gil?
It is now that we have Arrow Trap.
Yeah. Well, Gil has more control now, and Prissy is going to have to wax more toward mid-range.
Which, again, we talked about before with the triangle.
Yeah.
Pushes in more Gil's favor.
So any ruler that's a control ruler is going to be set up really well against a deck that's more mid-range, like Prissy is going to have to be.
For sure. What else you got for us, man?
Let's see, what else? What's another? You sort of said Feasting is not going to be there. So Mermaids. Let's talk about blue in general. So it's like when I'm just looking through all these different cards, I'm seeing blue doing more bounce effects, more sort of tempo control effects. Is that sort of like the new highlight of what makes water water? Is that the identity?
I think that's all what water's identity has always been.
Mm-hmm.
But we have not seen enough of it in playable cards. I think water has always been about bouncing, and draw power.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they are adding more utility to water, so we're enticed to play it in the sense of quick cast stuff, some reanimate stuff, and some utility cards that have multiple modes. But I think water has always been about that.
Mm-hmm.
Water's just never had enough to make us interested.
Okay, so things like Rabbit Kick way back in the day when the game first started going
was that idea, but Rabbit Kick was really slow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There have been Swordsman of the Blue Moon, going back all the way to Curse of the Frozen Casket.
Yeah.
4-drop bounce a dude. Ended up flying.
Mm-hmm.
So, water's always been about returning stuff. But now, we're getting return to stuff or locked.
Yeah.
Or locked to top of deck.
Mm-hmm.
So that's much more interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think Weather, as much as Weather is Rain is very, very weird, right? Weather is Rain, oddly enough, fits in the idea of tempo. It says, I let you take your turn, and then on my turn I disrupt your tempo, and then I let you take your turn, and then I disrupt your tempo, which fits with, that's how tempo likes to play.
Yep.
And so Weather is Rain is a natural, indicator. I'm going to be affected the game more on my turn, then I'm going to let you be disrupted, then I'm going to affect it on my turn, then I'm going to let you be disrupted.
So it teaches what tempo is in a card game.
For sure.
Pretty easily.
Absolutely.
That mechanic, which is, I think, kind of interesting.
I agree. I like mermaids a lot. I just don't think they're tier 1.
Yeah.
But, I will enjoy playing them. I know you have a deck, so I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I can't wait for us to be able to play that match.
Polytoad tempo.
It's good.
Polytoad tempo. It's going to be great.
So, let's see. What else do we have?
Yeah.
Any other major questions? No one else is really...
I think we already said Mikage is going to be really good in the future.
Oh my goodness, yes he is.
We talked about how Severing Winds and Farrah's Spell is going to make slower cards that give you a lot better. Let
me see if anything's been updated or tweeted at us.
So we sort of touched on Kirik a little bit, how he sort of divides his attention a bit when he plays, but you noted, at least to me, that Kirik has a really hard time against Fox.
Yes.
Yeah. So what does Kirik need to come out of the tool shed, basically? Because I was going into this, I thinking Kirik was one of the best rulers of the format. Period.
I was too. To be honest,
testing has proved that otherwise.
The problem is, Fox puts Kirik on the back foot very quickly. Very quickly. And when you are red, you do not like being on the back foot.
No, because you're red.
At all, right? So you want to be applying pressure, not spending your turn having to answer things and then letting your opponent get over you, right? It's kind of like inverse triangle, right? Kirik has to try to play control, but it can't play control because you're playing against a control deck. And then you go, I was playing against Omega Zero, who has gotten a lot better on Fox, for sure, but would make misplays. But in our matches, pretty much the only times when I would be able to steal games from him with the Kirik list, and this was pre-set release, so just structure deck stuff. Pretty much the only times when I was able to even come close to stealing games is if he made a lot of misplays, which is not going to happen at top tables for players like Fox. If you play against a Fox player at top tables, they are very good at Fox.
Yes. And
they are not going to misplay you. And so, those games that I played against Omega Zero would have been blowouts, against any, the Miles brothers or the Blandon brothers or anybody, train wreck. I would have been oh, you're playing Fox, it's a good match. I'm just going to scoop. Just going to scoop now, let's go get a drink. But, yeah, that's my thoughts there. Kirik needs more things to be able to answer things quickly. And Drill might be that. Because it's a 1-drop 1,000 damage to a flyer.
Okay.
I can see that. Maybe.
Is it Arrow Trap if he goes into green? which is something I've seen a lot, like going into like a
Red-green.
red-green aggro.
Yeah, I can see that for
Yeah.
sure. For sure, 100%.
Okay. So red-green, test it.
Always been a good color for aggro. So.
Dark End Master says, which really do you think is the best of the new set? I think that if we throw in the structures,
A
it's
full set, all 5 of them.
Yeah.
I think Gil.
Gil's the best.
Yeah.
Not Rhea?
I just really like Gil. I think that it's probably pretty close between Gil and Rhea. The problem is every time I think about wanting to play Dark, I just want to play Mikage
Yeah.
for a Dark Ruler. Natural and perishable, also has flying, serves as life gain, serves as removal, and it can also play with mystery counters. Like, he's naturally in black, so you can just play some of her stones and get some mystery counters, or her creatures, and get yourself mystery counters. Like, Mikage can just do it better.
Yeah.
But of the new stuff, the draw power of Gil is insane. For those of you who watched the feature match on Wednesday, release plus the wood elemental, unless you draw a card,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely insane for draw power. So I can have Wind Sprite Elemental, the draw card quick cast in my graveyard, banish it for green.
Yep.
Pay 2, cast release, bring the elemental back to my hand and draw a card, and then spend the one that I banished, the release, the elemental that I just put back in my hand, that I produced with it, to cast it again, put it in grave, and draw another card. So for 2 will, I drew 2 cards, and I refueled my elemental for later.
There you go.
Like,
That's a really good draw engine.
that's a insanely good draw engine
Yeah.
that he gets to make use of.
Yeah.
And I think that with the stuff that we've got now, Gil, Spinning Mist is really good. You know, again, like we've talked about before, like things that aren't quick cast, I think are going to have an impact. Because I also don't think that you can play 4 Severing Winds and 4 Favors spell.
Right.
Because then you have 8 cards in your deck, so a fifth of your deck, that can just be played around very easily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, Severing Winds cannot be answered by Spinning Mist or Fairer spell. Like,
Yeah.
you can't answer it with
Yeah.
either of those. So you have to have Dawn of the Earth. And if I see that you're playing a green ruler,
Yeah. You
probably don't have Dawn of the Earth. Which means my Spinning Mist just gets to stick.
Yep.
And then I get Friggs, and I loop Friggs stuff back to my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Or I play an Odin, and I have way more will than you.
Yep.
Or, like, and everything else. Like, I think that Gil also does the best job in baiting out Severing Winds and Farers.
Mhm.
Because of the elementals. Because he gets free spells.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So.
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
Fair spell, how many would you probably want to sideboard? I think 2 to 3, based on what you're playing. I don't think you ever run 4. I don't think it's necessary. Do you all think idols are going to be good enough to play in moderate decks? Sheila Controller, Fair, or even Pandora Golems?
Pandora Golems. Don't play
Yes.
Golems.
Don't play Golems. I think that the idols are honestly more for sealed play than
Yeah.
main board play.
Even the fixing idol.
Yeah, even that.
Yeah.
Because we're not in a format where you're wanting to play 4 colors. Because we don't have Ruler's Memoria.
We have an idol instead.
Yeah, but that's my deck.
Yeah.
I don't want to try to grab that from my deck.
Right.
When my deck is so big, I'd rather just play 3 and play a really solid, like, 4 of my, like, 4-4-2
Mm-hmm.
or 4-3-3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I run 4 of each. Nope, 4 releases is too good. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'll have to look at the list. But at least 3 releases, maybe 4. But that's,
You'll at least see tomorrow,
yeah, it'll
which is
probably
in 30 minutes.
it'll probably be up tomorrow before I leave for Odyssey. And then I still need to get the Mikage list because I haven't gotten it yet from him. But I think, do you have any other questions?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, I think that does it for us.
Yeah.
That was a good 3 hours of podcasting.
When you said it was going to be 1, I was like,
I was
yeah,
wrong.
there's
I
150
was
cards.
wrong,
Yeah.
But this
No,
has been
that's
good.
okay.
This has been good. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed this. I've enjoyed being with
Yeah.
you guys. Thank you guys so much for being with us. If this is something you want to see continue, go ahead and comment or message us or all kinds of stuff. Let me check Twitter one last time just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Speaking of tomorrow, is Paul
I'm gonna be there at Odyssey. I might
pop by,
I might pop by really quick,
but not to play.
So I have a cookie for him. That's right, because I learned that Sowing to Death is a good card.
Yeah, it's a good free cookie. I mean, at the very worst, I guess you could buy your pool and leave, because it starts at 1.
Yeah, or I could just buy the whole set from Josh Warsma.
or just wait till I get back from Worlds. So
yeah, exactly.
So that is it for us for tonight. Huge thanks to Paul for coming out and hanging out with us. Huge thanks to you guys for coming out and hanging out with us. We are going to try to do more podcasty kind of stuff in the future. Not this long. Future ones will be shorter and will be either live streamed or we will do them similar to the way Jay Ruler does his, where we will record it and then upload it for you to enjoy later, so it's not so late at night. If you guys want to support the channel, it definitely helps us make content like this for sure. You can support us on Patreon. There's a link above me. You can follow, type that into your browser, or there's a direct link down below in the description. As I try not to die.
Don't die.
Getting access to that Patreon is a minimum of $1 a month, with higher tiers getting better rewards, and you get access to our private Discord server, the Ruler School server, where you can interact with me and other Ruler School patrons, as well as have direct influence on the channel at the higher tiers. You'll also get access to, we have met all 3 of the primary goals, so every month we are going to do a giveaway of all kinds of stuff. We're going to do a tournament, which is free for patrons only, which will have cool pricing, and then we'll also do a monthly Lackey patron-only game night. So I will be hopping on and I will be playing games with only patrons once a month for a set amount of time, just playing games with patrons and live streaming it, but playing game with patrons only. So last month, today, for August, we gave away a Reflect Refrain Judge promo. Our giveaway for next month, September, is another Reflect Refrain Judge promo. And our tournament this month is for a Feasting Judge promo. Possibly more stuff if I get better swag and stuff from Worlds. I'll be trying to pass that on to you guys too. Maybe some boxes if I can get really lucky at Worlds, which would be sweet. And so thank you guys so much for that, and for all of you guys who would support it. It really means a lot and makes doing this much, much easier, especially for traveling for events. If you guys want to watch, we're not going to do a live stream next week in terms of us talking, but next Saturday and Sunday, I am actually been honored to be able to live stream the Masters at Vegas. So you can check here on the channel when that comes up. That's going to be on Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be Pacific Standard Time, but it'll be live for the entire time of Masters, so you can see all the best players in the world and what we're playing for New Frontiers, and see who wins $20,000. So maybe, I hope. There's a lot of really good players. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. And then Paul, sign off. You want to sign off yourself?
Bye.
Okay, cool. And as always, this is DMO73, and until next time, guys, we are signing off.